Hello and welcome to a book club for games. We are four lifelong friends who love to play games, and we wanted a new way to game together. So we decided to start a book club, but for games. Every month, we will choose one new game to play, and at the end of that month, we invite you all to join us in discussing that game. Everything will be up for discussion, from gameplay to sound design, business practices, or really anything else we can think about. So without further ado, I'm Mitchell.
Kevin.
Terry.
Jeff.
Oh, is this what I was supposed to say? Who I am too? I thought there was like an actual formal lead in, like, oh, here's who we have just for today. Oh, and I'm Paul.
That was the formal.
You're
lead
perfect, Paul. You're perfect.
Excellent.
That was perfect.
I'm Paul.
Perfect intro.
That's Paul in a nutshell. Anyways,
Damn,
this month's
like
game is chosen by Paul. We chose Tangle Tower. So, Paul, why did you choose that game? And, why do you choose these games in general?
Well, first off, I don't know if people remember this series, but I play like a lot of shooters, but games I really enjoy are like puzzle games. And not only just puzzle games, I'm talking like Phoenix Wright was good, but I'm talking about the OG DS series, Professor Layton. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but just to provide some background, it's essentially just this professor, this archaeologist, and his like apprentice, and they just travel around and they come across these odd mysteries. And the only way to advance in these mysteries are puzzles. And the art is so charming, but it's so sad to me that these games literally just were from the DS era, and there's nothing like that anymore. At least it was until I watched like a Game Maker's Toolkit video about like detective mechanics. And he was going through a bunch of examples of the games, and one of the games that came up actually was Tangle Tower. And I hope we really talk about the logic and the logic game mechanic in this game, because I think it's fucking fantastic. Not only does it have the puzzle aspect I'm really looking for, which I also have a lot to say about maybe not, but I have something to say about the puzzle design in this game and how like this game leads you around. But that's why I chose Tangle Tower. It reminds me of Professor Layton, and it has like a beautiful logic game mechanic that I've never seen before.
So, spoilers ahead if you haven't completed Tangle Tower. We will spoil it. And it is a pretty short game. It's only about 5 to 6 hours, so let that also just be out there. But I think, yeah, we can actually start then on the logic gaming, right? I guess for reference, I have never played many of these games, so this is kind of my first foray.
Click adventure?
Right. But, I don't know, Paul, like, what about the like logic game that was unique?
So I've played a lot of point and click games. Like I've tried the. I say I enjoy these point and click games, but I forgot what the company that creates like the Secret of Monkey Island. Like that used to be Lucasfilms, but they're another group now. But I really like those kind of point and click games. Though I will say Tangle Tower, to say it's a point and click game is not as accurate of a description, because I guess it's more of these items you can't be as creative with these items as in a usual point and click game. What I think that it makes this game really unique is how you solve these mysteries, or like how you point suspicion at people. The dialogues, I like the animation too. The animation's really cute. But it's a unique puzzle game design, because usually in mystery games, even in point and click games, they kind of funnel you towards like, oh, it must be this person, or it has to involve these group of people, and you just have to find like the incriminating evidence, and then you talk to them, and like in Phoenix, right, you're like, hey, do you know about this knife? It's got your fingerprints on it. But this game, it's a bit handholdy, but I still like just the pure mechanic of it, where once you gathered everything relevant for this specific person, the game straight up says, hold on, let's talk to this person. And when you talk to them, you don't even explicitly know what you're talking to them per se, unless you're like actually active in your investigations. And I really like how it's a simple sentence, because I think all the structures are the same, where it's an item, a sentence, and then an item, and then like a finishing sentence. So, sorry, I guess it's kind of confusing. It actually just makes one sentence.
It's a clause, or maybe even a verb.
Yeah, that's more accurate.
Whenever you're having to play the active detective and have your character like have the character Grimoire like deduce something, you'll have like it's pretty much 4 selectors. The first selector is like a piece of evidence, and then the second selector is like some sort of like connecting part of the thing. So like it might be like object was found in, and then another piece of evidence, and then the fourth selector would be it would be a concluding clause for the sentence.
Yeah.
And so because each of those selectors has like the evidence ones usually have like 8 different choices, and then the sentences usually the little clauses in between that connect the piece of evidence have like 3 or 4 options usually. It means that you can't really brute force it as you can with some like other logic based games like detective games.
So I think the statements are pretty like the clauses they provide. I think they're good bait as well. Like if you didn't know what specifically happened, it makes me like kind of doubt myself. Like wait, did this? Like there's like they throw in a lot of this event occurred in this person's room, or this was used to kill this person. But these are like what the bait could be. But because of the pressing moment of the situation, you kind of doubt, or at least I found myself doubting myself when I didn't 100% know what was happening. Where I was like, so was this used to actually kill, or like what's going on here?
They do a good job with the suspicion too, because even before you get to that, they make you pick the evidence that you're gonna accuse them with, and they do a good job of. It's like hand holding, like they're making sure you're on the right track and keeping you there. Because these types of games, it's like very easy to get lost and not know what to do. So I think they tried a lot of things to make sure you're on the same page. And it's like one of the reasons why they probably broke the game into sections too, right?
Yeah.
Part 1. I think I wasn't a really big fan of that, but I see why they did it.
I don't think the sections really made like in a sense to me. Like, haphazard.
I think the sections mechanically were there because they needed to make sure that you finished
We're in
each
a
thing,
certain
right?
spot,
I guess
yeah.
they didn't need to put it in, but it was gameplay wise, they had you in a certain spot. You did all of the suspicions, so now you can go into the next section. And I don't think I didn't like that you had to do that. Like I like it when it's more freeform and you're able to like, I didn't suspect this person at all, so I didn't need to do that, and then like start investigating the other areas, things like that. But they definitely did that so you wouldn't be lost. But it definitely made it so that it wasn't really your solution when you came to it at the end. Yeah.
That's what's kind of odd is that I really like the game for the mechanics to provide, like and also like the puzzles they show as well. I think they're much more creative than for example in Professor Layton, where the puzzles are very like they're very random, as in you walk up to a random person and you ask them, hey, do you know about this person? And the person will be like, hold on, I need you to solve my puzzle about like the moon and the sun. Or they'll be like, oh, could you do this rotating cube puzzle with like your missing piece? Yeah, they're like very obvious in puzzles, but this game is and I really like it for this is when you pick a puzzle like when you're unlocking one of the boxes to get into like their secret shit, it provides you like obviously a puzzle. Sometimes it's like one that distinctly comes into mind is where you have to reorganize the 3 pieces of paper to get 4 leaf patterns on it, or to distinguish 4 leaf patterns. But it's like it does not tell you until you like try once and then fail. It does not tell you what to do. You just have 3 pieces of paper and just a lock with leaves. And once you like mess around with it, you realize, oh, okay, I see what's happening. And every puzzle is designed like that. Like the game does not step in until you've tried once and then you can't go nowhere with it. And I really like that.
Yeah. I actually made it a point to like only click the button when I knew I had the answer, because I was like, I don't need these baby hints. What are you doing to me?
Sometimes I would still fuck up, but
yeah.
The game is very, very friendly to
yeah
new players, I'd say.
Did you guys have a favorite puzzle on that note? I like the sun and moon one a lot, and the uncles. I thought that one was pretty
Wait,
interesting
the
and cool.
uncles?
Or
Oh, the island, the treasure map puzzle.
no, not that one.
Oh,
Not
fuck that one.
He's talking about pointers.
Yeah,
the
pointers.
one with the orrery, the
Yeah.
solar
I
system.
think that
model
was
one.
Oh yeah, that one was really cool too.
Oh,
yeah,
the shadow
yeah.
one.
that one was
yeah.
probably my favorite.
I like
like the
most
sun
of
and
the
moon one.
puzzles.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
was the
the sun
second
and-
one?
Sun and Moon.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the one we were talking about.
That one is really creative.
The sun tiles. That one was cool because it had like, two
the
different
two
bits.
rooms. Yeah.
Oh, what were you talking about?
I was talking about the shadows and pointers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the
the orbiting
observatory.
one. Yeah.
The observatory.
Um,
I guess we should also go through and say the one that you hated or gave you the most trouble, dude. Penny's in her room with the birds. I was like, I literally overthought it so hard because I was like, oh, these are the people that live here. So I
Yeah.
need to look at the people that live here and see their familial relationships and get this to work based on them. And then I was like, that one threw me for a loop.
Yo,
'cause
what
my
Was that
puzzle
the
is
one?
that?
Was that the
I-
one where it was like
The-
it starts out as
the
a red
family
and blue
tree.
person makes a purple person?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
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 I didn't see it was a tree. I thought it was like like this side or like this side. You know, it was like I didn't get that it was a tree, so it took me.
Yo,
then-
speaking of like overthinking things, for that one, I thought it was supposed to be like an animation of the eyes.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no, I thought it was like rotating at first or something.
Yeah, no, I thought it was
Mm.
lines. So I would put the two birds that
Oh,
are
no,
looking
me
at each
too.
other at the top, and then I
Yeah.
would put in the order of eyes closed, eyes slightly open, and then eyes
Yeah.
open. And then I'm like, what? Why is it not this? How else are you supposed to find it? Like that's a good example of like it not having any rules, but once you get it, it's like, oh my god, why did I not think of that? Because the clues are all there. It's just
Yeah.
we need to, break outside of that our like confined thinking, and I really love that stuff.
Yeah,
that one
I do
was
kind
that
of
was cool.
I do kind of wish that it was less a little bit less handholdy because like you can try a lot of permutations of that one, right?
Yeah,
But by the third time they're already like, oh, it's a family tree, and then okay, I get it.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like that
Unless
one,
you're
like
me,
I actually
and I'm stupid.
did you not
Because
click
I
it
was
3
like-
times
No,
before you?
I was like, it's a family tree of the people that live here. Because I was like, oh, this red one is the uncle that lives over there. Who's
so
his
you
kid?
tried to, like,
And I was trying
map
to
them
line
out.
it up to the
Bro,
yeah.
you're like you're reading deep into it.
Yeah, and then I literally only got it because I was like, there's no way they made it this complicated. All the other puzzles have not been this complicated. And I was like, okay. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's the beaks. God damn it. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I definitely am a fan of the puzzles that were not that one's an example of like not having instructions kind of mess with you, but like the planetary one with the shadows, that's cool. I like the one near the end where I think you're like unlocking a lock, and what you
Mm.
have to do is you pull out those tabs,
Oh
right?
yeah. That
And
one-
it's the
that was cool.
overlapping of the
Oh.
tabs.
That was hard.
That
that
was
Yeah,
tricky,
cool.
yeah.
dude, it makes you feel creative too. Like it's
Yeah.
a simple concept, and if it's, and I bet you if there were specifically words that straight up said like, "Oh, draw a path from the key to the lock," it would be so much easier to understand.
I disagree with that. It seemed fairly obvious what you were meant to do.
It
in
was
that
just hard to
case.
do it.
It wasn't even like
For me.
necessarily hard. It was like, let me just try this until it like that was one of the ones I remember where I was like, let me just jiggle it. Like I know what I do and I know the secret of, oh, you can overlap the pieces to make the path change. Let me just jiggle it until it actually gets together.
Oh,
that
really?
was
Yeah, I
my
did kinda do
most
that.
disliked puzzle,
Oh,
and I liked all the puzzles. Okay, to be clear, but yeah, that one was the most tedious. I would say. I think is what
Yeah.
Terry was going
wait, you
for.
guys found that tedious?
Well, you had to do
I
the
did, yeah,
permutations
actually.
pretty much. Like,
No,
you tried
I-
this path, did this path.
No, I
How'd you-
actually I thought it was pretty obvious. That's why I really like
No,
the
it's
puzzle.
obvious what you need to do, but you have to like keep pulling these switches
Yeah.
and trying out a bunch of different permutations. It's just
Maybe you got
Okay.
lucky, Paul.
No, dude. Okay, maybe this is just my brain's built different. What can I say? But, I mean, already I could tell it's different because it's my favorite and it's Jeff's worst one.
the thing is, it's not like a hard puzzle, right? It's like the puzzles that are, it would be satisfying if you had to figure out a trick or something. You're like, oh, okay, this is how you do it. No, it's clear what you need to do from the start. you just need to try things until it kind of works. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have brute forced it, but it felt like a very brute forcey kind of solution.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I
I
agree,
didn't.
though.
I didn't brute force it. I actually tried to go
No,
backwards.
because I like that's what I
went backwards
I like
too,
pulled them
yeah.
all out just to see what they all were, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, the only way this works is if this one is there, and then I know I need to get the path eventually across. I need to snake the path so I can get across. The only way that works is through this and this, and at the end of the day, it's like it felt more brute forcey than some of the other puzzles.
Interesting.
know.
Like speaking of brute force, I thought the sun one was a little brute forcey in that regard because I understood what I had to do, but then I was like, okay, now I need to just kind of fuck around with the light sources until I get like the one shape I want, and once that's there, then I'm like, okay, then it's all downhill from there. So yeah. No, I thought that was a really cool puzzle. I was like, oh, this is cute.
I mean, yeah, no, it hits different.
And I
Different
love
way.
how it yeah, I do think the tabs are kind of baity. For like for me when I solved it, I didn't pull all of it out. I kind of pulled one and then the other, and I'm like, okay. And then I put everything away, and then I just kind of built like this way.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like rather than going
No.
backwards or going forward, I just did this. And it was pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cute puzzle.
That was cute. No.
Did you guys have a favorite? Yeah, Terry, Jeffrey.
Well, I know Jeff's least liked one.
Favorite?
There isn't a puzzle that really stands
Like stood out.
The only one that really stands out, like I said, is the treasure map one.
Mm.
Dude, I could not get that one.
Really?
I
No, I
got
did
it
not
after I
understand that one.
failed the like first 2 times. I'm like, there's the obvious one.
Yeah.
Wait, nothing about this picture says that it's facing north.
There's a compass. And
Yeah.
They're facing. It's like that.
No,
I,
in the treasure map one, it's because there's the obvious. There's the bait
Yeah, the
solution
obvious
that
close.
has all
Yeah.
3 of those symbols and it faces straight forward.
Yeah.
Or it does face north, but north is like tilted or something. I forget.
No.
It's
And then
missing
the
the
real
birds.
answer-
It has all 3
Yeah.
but the birds, and it's obvious, and it's in the center of the map. So you look
Yeah.
at it and you're like, oh, it's this. But then you try it and you're like, this is me, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
there's like a third category. It's not just row column. There's a cardinal direction category. So I had to go back and be like, okay, oh, there's birds here. Oh, okay, and then
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys found it by the birds?
Oh, I didn't do birds. I did
I
perspective.
did do birds. I just when the obvious solution didn't work, I was like, oh, wait a minute. The cardinal direction's important. What if I just like, and then I just went through and I looked at the islands and looked at where they were pointing to see if they had all 3 of the other islands.
yeah,
I
no,
actually-
there's a
I did
sea
not
serpent.
understand the cardinal direction.
There's a sea serpent on the left. There's like a rock on the right. You're on an X. There's a tree, and there's birds. That's the key. The obvious one
Yeah.
doesn't have a bird in it. That's the
Yeah,
only
I
thing
saw
that's
I
missing.
didn't notice
Oh.
the birds
No,
at all.
so
Yeah.
for me, it wasn't the birds. It was because of the perspective of the
right?
painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff was further away. That's how I figured.
Yeah,
it out.
that's how I figured it out. Same with I actually
I
did
didn't even
not
notice
remember
the
the birds
birds.
at all.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
didn't notice
looked
that
for the
They
birds
gave-
and still didn't get it because I could not figure out northeast, southwest. I thought you were just like picking.
You're standing on
square.
the island and you're looking
And you're
towards
facing.
the.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did not get that. I literally looked it up
The,
online after like half an hour.
the cardinal direction part of the combination lock is which direction you're facing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got that when I finished, like when I looked it up online. But like,
Oh, you
I
looked
was
it
like,
up. Oh,
I was
you
like in the
bitch.
middle and like north, east, south. Like I tried every single like in the obvious one, right? Because I was like, I couldn't figure out what the northeast, southwest was. So I was like, is it the X north or next? And then I got fed up with it.
Oh.
Oh,
But yeah,
it's okay.
I had to turn in my gamer card for that one.
Okay, as long as you
Okay.
acknowledge it.
Next,
Oh,
we'll send you some baby food, Mitchell. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I need to look up a list of puzzles because I know it was one of the
Yeah.
early ones I liked a lot. I don't remember.
There were really only puzzles at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
that one, the one that Paul mentioned.
because like
and
each
then
room,
that was
each
the-
person's
There's
bedroom would have
each
one.
bedroom plus
Yeah.
the auditorium,
Oh.
not the astronomer's
The crab,
place
the
had it.
crab one was cool, I guess.
I like
that
that
was just a
one.
memory check.
Dude.
It was a
Yeah.
memory check to see
Yeah, it
if
was a
you were
memory
reading.
check, yeah.
Crab one was okay.
I like
thought
the
it was
crab one because
okay,
then you could like
yeah.
pull out the picture
Yeah,
and
but
look at the crab.
But that's
Yeah, I
like
pulled the
that's,
picture and then I had to take a picture of the picture.
yeah, see,
on my
yeah,
phone.
I'm stupid. So I had to
Oh,
I kept thinking
I
like, okay, you know what?
the-
I'm smart enough to remember the positions. I kept exiting the puzzle, opening the book, looking at the
Nah, dude.
crab, exiting the book, opening the puzzle,
Small
I did
exiting.
it like 2 or 3 times, yeah, but
I've seen that enough times where I'm just like, nah, take out phone, take picture, go into puzzle, pull up the picture of it on my
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah,
I
no, you're
definitely
you just
stairs.
print screen that, bro. Put it in Paint, and then you just tab
Oh,
out.
bro. Nice.
Nah, it's
well,
like,
No, you gotta
Oh.
prove
It's
like,
that like your
I'm
brain's
pretty
not
sure it was
that
closed,
bad.
and I was like, ah, shit, it wasn't closed or
You have
whatever.
to prove you have to prove you're not getting dementia.
Yeah, I'd like to say I'm still somewhat have a memory, but that is clearly not the case.
I remember now the clockwork puzzle one, the clockwork box puzzle.
Oh, I hated
was
the clock one.
interesting,
That was
but
okay.
also
that was
annoying.
cool. It was
The
annoying.
numbers were a little unclear for
Yeah.
me.
The four
So-
rotating gears, where
Yeah.
like what position they're meant to be in is inside the circle.
Yeah.
It was just
I
bit
literally
flipping, bro.
did not see it until I finally solved it, and I was like, oh, it's 3, 6, 9, 12. Because
Are
I
you
just like
still
tried
with the-
different permutations.
Wait, how'd
and-
you
Literally
solve it
tried
without it?
He tried
No.
every single permutation until you got it.
Yeah, I was basically just trying different ways to make them all
No!
work separately. And then I was like, no, and then I saw it like at the very end. I was like, oh, duh, it's fucking 3. It's like 12.
So, yeah,
It took
no,
me,
for
like,
me, I
10,
thought you
15
had to
minutes,
face
though.
them all north. In this, I got you had to get them all facing the
Oh
same
yeah,
direction.
no, at first you're like,
yeah.
you have no idea.
Yeah.
But the one
And
that
then you
I think
see
the third hint is like, oh, the position they're supposed to be in is inside the circle. I think is one.
Yeah,
of the
I
hints
just
that you
tried doing the north thing like 2 times, and then it was like,
Yeah.
no, you need to look
Dude.
at the numbers. And I'm like, oh yeah,
Dude,
No,
they're
but I didn't see the numbers
I was-
because they're like weird, like stylized numbers, right?
That's
I
what was
was
so
so
cool
mad.
about it.
I was so
was
mad
cool.
when I got it all facing north, and they were like, "This isn't right." I was like,
yeah,
"Bro,
because it's so hard
bro."
to do the logic. Yeah.
No, I was saying the
Years.
same thing.
I was interpreting the images too literally too, because the 3 looks like a budding plant, and I'd be like, okay, that's
Yeah.
like morning,
Yeah.
and then the 2 is like a swan, and I'm like, okay.
See, but that's the beauty of having puzzles with no instructions. Like I don't know, this might be frustrating for some people, but I love it. Like when it finally clicks, and because I only saw the numbers when I was like fucking around with the hands. But when it hit, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so interesting!" Like,
Yeah.
you spend so
It's-
much time obsessed over it, and then once you
It's-
see it, it's like, oh,
Yeah, it's easy enough that you won't get frustrated. Is the
Mhm.
key.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, the puzzle games. There are some puzzle games that are really intricate, and it's not fun for most people. Then,
Unless you're Mitchell.
dude,
Or,
honestly,
yeah, if
Dude,
you're
I actually-
okay
I
with
did
looking at
look
the
at the-
answer, yeah.
yo, can I see
Uh,
Mitchell like solo in Escape Room? I
I'm
gotta
actually
see that.
pretty
You
good at
can't brute
escape
force
rooms,
that
but-
shit, bro.
No, because I just could not understand
Of
north,
course
east,
you can brute
southwest. So I was
force
like,
that shit, dude. What
Oh,
are the people
that's
gonna do when
another
you kick down the door, huh? What?
Dude, that's why you're
Come
not
at him.
allowed to touch the things with the red tape on it, bro. Okay, don't touch it. Don't break it.
He just said I
Oh,
can't
no,
brute
no.
force it. I'm gonna show him I can fucking brute force it. What are they gonna do to me? I just kick down the door.
They're gonna charge you money, bro.
yeah.
They ain't charging me shit. I kick down the door. I'm gonna kick out the door down on the way out.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
remember
god.
get back to that. I remember the clock box one. The reason I bring it up now, they have the list of all the puzzles.
Damn.
I remember that one
alright.
being frustrating because once they tell you, I was like, oh yeah, it's obvious. It's like what you have to do is after like. Then it literally took me like another 5 minutes of fiddling with it, of
Mm.
like trying to logic
Oh,
out
yeah.
what turn affects what to actually get
Mm.
everything into the right position. I was like,
Yeah.
God damn, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
I was like,
That
I,
one
got, I
favorite-
get what you're supposed to do. It's just the
Yeah.
action of doing it takes forever.
Yeah, it was annoying.
Yeah. Actually, I thought the clock one was kind of easy because
Okay, alright, big bro.
I didn't spend a lot of time. Okay, there were puzzles I spent time on, right? Obviously, but this one was like, once you know the thing, or I guess it's just you have to sit down and think about how like they rotate, and you're like, oh, this one needs to
that's
rotate
it's
alone,
like
right?
sitting down, thinking about how they rotate, and just going through it took me a while to actually get
Oh, I
it
see.
I
to
will
like
I will
actually line up
be
properly.
yeah, I will 100% admit that is I think the only puzzle I brute forced because I was like, I'm not thinking about this. I know what it's supposed to look like. I'll get it
Yeah.
eventually.
I mean, it is one. It's similar where you can just permute it.
Yeah.
It's
there's
because
only-
there's
once
very
you know what's
few.
happening.
There's very
yeah.
few because each clock only has 4 variants.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Wait, so Jeff, you're saying you had a favorite puzzle? The clock one was your
it
favorite
was
puzzle?
the key one.
The key
Oh yeah, the
one.
key
with
one, the
with
perspective one.
I think
The
that
one
one
where you
was
have to
really
shift the
smart.
magnifying glasses around to get it to perspectively
Oh,
show.
that
Yeah, that
was
was
cool.
really fun.
I
Yeah,
think
that
this
was
one's
fun.
really relevant too right now because we're talking about how it can. I know they obviously. So I played their other games as well, and I know
Oh.
they're talented game designers, and they know how to. They're especially Dim, who's an artist, very focused on making things intuitive. But that clock puzzle, judging by the fact that we all didn't know about the time thing, even okay, in retrospect, it's obvious.
I forgot the numbers almost right away. It was
Okay.
just the act of then getting all the arms to
Yeah.
actually face the right numbers that took me forever.
So maybe it was different in their testing too. But for three of us, we were dumb and we didn't notice the numbers until
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, must point them all in the same direction.
North.
Like,
I think
maybe
a
they're
lot
all
of games have a
opposite
similar
directions.
puzzle, and they just try to make you do the same direction thing, and then you're just like, okay, I'm just the same as other games. But for me, it's relevant here with the key puzzle as comparison point, because the key puzzle to me is super intuitive. You know immediately what you get. It already looks like a key vaguely, and as soon as
Yeah.
you use the magnifying lens that reduces the size, it's different from the other magnifying lens, right? You're immediately aware that like you just need to line it up correctly and like slightly overlap. Like I don't think anyone would get confused by that, and it was interesting and it was easy to grasp. Have to think about still, you know. Very nice puzzle, my favorite.
Also, actually looking at all of them, I think my favorite was the paintbrush one.
Oh, God.
That was like a
dude,
long
I-
puzzle.
Sorting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
yeah.
because like this one has
The
to be the
color.
short one, and so
Yeah.
like you had to. I like that one actually.
Dude, I actually was really dumb on that one for a little bit because the 3 dots, I like confused the 3 dots with the top, not the height. for a
Oh
while.
yeah.
I
yeah.
thought they were the top of the brushes that were lining up. And
No,
I was
yeah, it took me a
like,
couple.
"What?"
It took me
And
a
then I
good
had-
amount of tries.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, get me in an escape room again, bro.
Yeah.
Again, I know I'm gonna pull out like the past memory bank, but I just want to say we could have skipped that puzzle. That once puzzle, I was just so stupid. I couldn't reorganize letters, but we could have easily solved that room without even digging through the letter shit. I felt so dumb about that.
What are
I'm
you talking
all about the meta puzzles, bro. What?
What are you talking about?
Do you not remember? Oh my god.
Oh,
I
I
don't
think there was like a tub of letters or something, and he had to wear gloves
Oh,
or
dude.
something.
deep
You see,
cut.
I didn't do that puzzle, so I don't remember. But I think
Deep
this
cut,
is like a
yeah.
Yeah,
escape
that's
room
like
we
a
did
hard
years ago.
throwback.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
actually, Jeff, you brought up an interesting point. I think like a common theme when you were bringing up like the how intuitive these puzzles are supposed to be. I never actually thought of it being intuitive because I would always have to have a moment of like, give me a moment. But I think I noticed that one of the things that they do a lot is like one is like matching up things, like lining things up, and another is overlapping. Like there seems to be a couple puzzles, their theme is overlapping. Like even the shadow one is a form of overlap, and like the tab one of the locks, that's all about overlap as well. And that's what you have to do with the mirrors. Like you kind of have to
With the mirrors?
yeah, the key one with the mirrors, because you have to kind of overlap
Oh, the
mirrors
lenses.
just
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, the magnifying glass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
sorry. The magnifying glass. Yeah.
I think this is more a product of them wanting to keep the gameplay simple. There's only so many mechanics you can keep really simple and still have interesting puzzles before it starts. You can't make them too complicated, basically, is what I'm saying. Because you have to
Especially
keep
like
in
a
mind
2D
that
space, right?
you also have to keep in mind that they tend to make games for a younger audience as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Mhm.
Oh, but like I think it's still pretty good though. Like it just shows you that I think I would say like what holds this game back, which obviously it keeps in mind of who the intended audience is, but keep the same puzzles, but make it a little more punishing.
I think that what I wanted a hint button, right? Instead of having them tell me when I hit
Yeah,
the lock.
I
But
would
I
agree
see
with that.
why they did that though. Because they
Yeah,
didn't want you
yeah.
to feel dumb for needing a hint.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't
why
want you
they
to be
tied it in.
stuck. As soon as you start feeling stuck, yeah, as soon as you start feeling
Lose
stuck in a
control of
puzzle
thought.
game, it's like over for a lot of people. They don't want to
Yeah.
feel frustrated. They
Yeah.
just want to keep going. So
Yeah, like Mitchell, you were talking about that one puzzle. Like sometimes you just accidentally hit the wrong one, and then you just get the hint, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh well, you just kind of solved it. Yeah.
Yeah, cause like that's why I would really love to see like everything in this game, like the mechanics they introduced in the game, like the types of puzzles and like the deductions you make. I want to see this in like another mystery game, like I don't know, like more punishing. Like so, one of the things I was thinking about was obviously you have like a lot of leeway to do this, right? But what if there was like a mental boomage as a health bar, where like you have like an overall HP, right? And just to be extra specific, it's like in the image of a brain. But every time you do these puzzles and you like mess up, right? Just a little bit chips off.
you're literally
see.
describing why people dislike Pikmin 1. Like
Pikmin?
you're adding a secondary resource that puts pressure on the player, where
Oh.
most people of that genre don't want that. Like people didn't like the time pressure in Pikmin 1. They
Yeah.
really dislike you only have 30 days to get off the planet system. Like if you're adding a health counter to a puzzle game now, I guarantee you, even most like, I feel like most people, even puzzle gamers, will be unsatisfied with that, bro. Baba Is You is known for being hard, and they don't do that shit. They give you an undo button.
Yeah.
Dude,
And I'm
Baba Is You
also-
breaks my freaking brain, dude.
Cause like I was also thinking like, what if in this detective game, right? Once you reach the end, like the character slowly becomes more frazzled himself, and you get like potentially different endings.
I get that.
Where at the end the guy's finally like, fucking finally, I knew it was correct.
Yeah.
Again,
Actually,
I
that
feel
was-
like you're describing a very different game, like a completely different game now. Now
Yeah.
you're describing like a puzzle game oriented towards adults with like a sanity meter, you know? Like
Yeah.
now
You
I'm
want
thinking
the-
like
you want, like-
Amnesia, yeah. Like this is very clearly a children's puzzle game,
Paul-
which
Paul-
is
Paul wants a Dark Souls of puzzle
yeah,
games.
he wants
Yeah.
the Dark Souls of puzzle
Dark
games,
Souls.
and
That-
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Bro, that's what Professor Layton was for me. I found it's the only game I've 100%ed in my entire life. I
Mm.
found all the hint coins, never used any of them, finished all the puzzles. I fucking
Nice flex.
it's the only game. A game made for children is the only game I've 100%ed.
I actually, because you talked about the endings in that mechanic you dreamed up,
Mhm.
but I was disappointed that there weren't multiple endings. I thought that this
Yeah.
game, it was kind of building up to be like Clue, where you
Mm.
Yeah.
suspect someone and accuse someone.
I
And
kind of
that's what I was kind of expecting as I was playing through it, and then towards the end, it just kind of gave it to
Just,
you,
like,
and I was like,
unfurled
"Damn."
it.
based
Yeah.
on
Okay.
based on how freeform it was up until the laboratory
Right,
sequence.
yeah.
you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I feel like things might change based on what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
you know, I'm also okay with it. Most puzzle games usually have, you know,
Yeah.
one ending. So
Yeah, I was a
Even with
little-
one ending though, it wasn't as satisfying. Like I think where this game
Oh.
really falls off
Yeah.
is as much as I'll jerk off about the game mechanics, the game itself, in my opinion, is sort of disappointing.
you mean the story?
I
Yeah,
didn't-
like
yeah.
it sets.
We'll
it
get to that
starts
Before
really
we get to
strong.
to that
We'll
though,
get
I
to
do
that
want
in a
to
little.
Yeah,
loop
yeah,
back
yeah.
to some of the other mechanics.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Um,
sorry.
No, you're good. But so the exploration I think was cool, and like you said, I liked it that it was freeform, right? It made you
Mhm.
think of different things. But also, I was a fucking idiot and didn't realize you could talk about what do you call it? Evidence
Items.
to people.
Yeah, no, me too. It's okay.
Okay.
You're not alone.
Okay. So I
Bruh.
talked to like
It took
everyone,
me a
and I
little.
did all the talking about each other, and I was like, wait. And then I think the very last one I met, they were like, oh, I need to present them this book, and I was like, wait, you can talk about all of them, and I had to go back and just like click
Yeah,
random evidences.
yeah.
Oh, I love
They
I
it.
tell
basically
you that in
had
the
all the
tutorial.
evidence.
The
left.
tutorial,
Yeah, I had like
I
a
want to
whole
say,
page.
the tutorial was really nice, where you go up to the crime scene. You know, they teach you how to go between areas, right? Very intuitive. And they talk like, oh, we need to go to the next area, and then Grimoire is like, they do the classic Amnesia protagonist thing, where it's like, oh, I'm an idiot, I don't know how to use the map. Oh, here's the map, and then they, you know, oh look, and it shows a player, the map mechanic, and then oh, you go to the next room, and they also do the same thing with the clue mechanic. They're like, oh, I need to know where to put my clues, and then there's like, you know, there's the
didn't know
clue
where to
screen. But they literally tell
I
you
don't
that in the
remember them
tutorial.
t-
When you go to the crime scene and you click on the gramophone, it adds it to your clue screen, and then you're supposed to like ask.
Nah.
Yeah, talk about
No,
it.
Laura
I don't
about
think
it.
you
No,
asked
they don't say anything.
about
They
it.
just say add it to the clue screen, so I'm like, oh, so I can reference it.
No,
Yeah,
no, no. They,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, they don't make you, but they say a very. It's just like, okay, it's like at the beginning of the game where Sally's like, "Hey, we should go deeper into the island," and he's like, "Oh, I need to look at the map." You don't. It doesn't tell you. Here's the map. You need to click on the next square. It's more like the game was like, we should ask Flora about the gramophone, you know? And that's just it. You don't have to, but
Yeah. So it took a bit to see how you could do that. Like I wasn't aware you could.
I thought talking to Flora was just
Reference,
clicking
yeah.
on Flora.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not as
yeah.
it's not as intuitive as the map, but it was also, I felt like it was pretty good. It was a pretty good tutorial in my opinion.
That's what makes me love this game even more. Like genuinely, there's the mechanics, but it's the lack of instructions. Like we're
Yeah,
all
it's
a
very
couple
intuitive.
of decent gamers, and even with a bunch of people who are used to playing games, even
Decent
now you're
gamers.
saying, yeah, I didn't realize a core mechanic until I was forced to use it. And I just love that idea that like the game, yeah, like you said, Jeff, the game at the start pretty much gives you all you need in the first couple seconds. So it doesn't even feel like a tutorial. Get to island, talk to person, walk deeper, done. And then the game just goes, all right, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
And I
Like, I
love
feel
that. I
like-
love that.
I know. Again, Dim puts a lot of emphasis on art design, and because I followed him since I was young for many years, but it's a very intuitive game. the least intuitive thing I would say were some of the puzzles, but that's kind of the point of puzzles too sometimes. So it's like, okay,
Can't be
you know.
that
It's about
obvious.
breaking that intuition.
Yeah, you know, it was like overall it was great.
I really like
It was
the art
also
too.
because of the the art was awesome, but it was also because of you have so much to do of other things that you're like, wait, I can't. Once you finish doing that, that's when you go, oh, can I do more? And then you realize that's when I realized I could ask
It
them
might
about the
also
items,
just be because
I was just going through all of them talking.
Oh,
maybe
also
like
the suspicion mechanic. It isn't when you've exhausted, talk to them about everything. It's when you've
Items.
yeah. It's when the Grimoire uncovers certain facts about certain items that the thing pops up.
it's just flags. You have to trip certain flags.
Yeah, you
and
have to
then,
trip certain flags, which leaded to a hilarious case on my end where I think I had Penny's suspicion left.
Mhm.
I had already talked to her about the item with which Grimoire would have been suspicious about, and it just wasn't triggering
Oh yeah.
until I talked to her again, left her room, and then Grimoire's like, huh, maybe we should talk to Penny about this.
I will say.
Actually, that's yeah.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
Well, I just want to say that's actually another in the dream game I was thinking about. And obviously this game I'm thinking about is more difficult. It would be a lot more difficult because one of the mechanics I wish this game had was like a way to circumvent certain parts of the game without evidence but through sheer logic. Like I think it would be very cool where it's the logic portion again, right? But it's harder, as in like it gives you a longer word list and a larger choice of evidence. So it'd be very interesting to see like the detective game where you could actually just through sheer deduction just figure out and like be like, hey, it has to be you, rather than tripping these flags.
I felt that because there were times, especially when you're looking at the items, if you spend a little bit thinking, reading them, you're like, oh, I know this.
Yeah.
But you like it doesn't let you act on it, and that's a little frustrating.
Sometimes there are obvious things, or it feels obvious to you, and you're just like, okay, someone needs to pick up on this because I need them to know that I know.
Yeah.
But that would be so hard.
It's hard.
To do,
that's
though.
really hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to do. That's the hard part of course, of doing a puzzle game or a detective game or writing a detective, and having in media in general.
But that's
I
what
want to say.
Like, oh, sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry. Yeah, go on.
Related to this design, there was actually a decent amount of like Ludo narrative dissonance for me, because the biggest one is they make a very tongue-in-cheek reference to how Grimoire is making an invasion of privacy, and Sally points it out, and then Grimoire is like, nah, I don't really care though.
Oh yeah, that's my job.
And then later Sally just apparently just completely never cares again, because you're breaking into people's like chests and you're breaking into people's things. You can literally go up to them and show them the thing, and they'll be like, why? They won't even accuse you of anything. They'll just be like, hey, that's mine. Like, what do you think? And then Grimoire's like, what do you think about it? And then they're like, well, I think this. And they just never thought, like, think any, so that's just it. They're just completely okay with it. And then the second thing is that it was the thing we were just talking about, how Terry was talking about how you can have weird situations come up because of that, where it's like, we already talked about this thing that's really closely related to this item, and I haven't talked about the item yet. And then when we talk about the item, we'll be like, I've never seen that in my life, and it's just like we just talked about it.
My favorite interaction.
I didn't have much of that, but yeah.
I had a lot of that because I was doing more. Well, I play more completions. I also, in these kinds of games, I like to gather all the facts before making any push towards like a conclusion. So I would be like talking to Penny, and then I would have or I would be talking to someone, clear their suspicion. And then I was just finish up the dialogue on the other items, and then they just mentioned something like they'd never seen it, even though we literally talked about it.
What were you saying, Paul?
No, I was. That's how I also approached the game. I like explored everything first, picked up all the items, then I was like, okay, let's start talking to people.
Yeah.
A distinct goofiness I remember about the items, and like the person should clearly know about it, is when you go up to talk to Penny about the letter that says "I'll get her." And she's like, oh, did you find that in the open? They're like, no, we had to break a box open for it. And Penny was like, I see. And that's where the dialogue just ends.
There's like instances of that. And that is I forgot to mention, that is the third piece of Ludo narrative dissonance, where you're like bringing up like mission critical things, or things that would seem really important. Yeah. And the people are just like, cool.
Oh yeah.
Or it's a thing where you know something really obvious, but it seems obvious to you. Like, for example, in the burnt ashes, there's very clearly the feather, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
image of the ashes, but you can't bring that up until like you have to think about it with Sally or something.
Yeah, and then
It's
you
like,
the actual
Flora,
suspicion thing.
fucking
Yeah.
talk to me. I see the feather right here. Just talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. Or also the thing where it's like, oh, clearly Freya's drawing fits in here, and you don't touch that for like 10 minutes or something until Sally brings it up, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
See, that would be a good point to allow you to circumvent moments with evidence. Where I really like the moment where you grouped it with Sally, like periodically, and you
Yeah.
would just have a back and forth. Like that really for me added to the detective narrative,
Character. Yeah,
where you're
I agree.
regrouping and
Characters
going
were
over
nice.
facts. Yeah, and it'd
Yeah,
be
'cause,
cool if Sally was randomly like, "Oh, so what do you think about this?" And you could straight up just say no, or you can say yes, and then that would enter that bit where you can try to guess what the problem is.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at, Terry?
I just realized the tutorial thing for that 4 selector logic puzzle.
Yeah.
The tutorial one is literally you end up with an incorrect statement. 'Cause I think that's the one where Grimoire logics out that the red paint and knife in the picture matches the stab wound on Freya. Therefore, the painting was the murderer.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, I thought we were going to some like magic shit, like the painting stabbed her,
No, I
and then
did for
went
a little
back in the
bit.
painting.
Yeah.
I did think that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of.
It was cool.
It's like magical enough that it makes you think
Oh.
that way.
On the like writing thinking things, I loved Freya's diary as an item because you read it and you're like, yo, this girl's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then you're like reading it, and then as you keep going, it reveals, and you're like, oh, it all adds up. But for that moment, it kind of was like, is this a horror game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 'cause
I
you got,
definitely
like,
got creeped
the-
out. The little
The
tingles
ink thing
and I was
too.
like,
The like,
yeah,
and like they're all in the same general time, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
it's taking a turn.
yeah. I like that item a lot. It made you. It almost felt like it was a shift.
I didn't
Actually,
make
that was
any
probably my favorite
Uh-huh.
puzzle is the
the crab one with the ink.
the ink block.
Yeah.
Where you have to bring it
Yeah,
to different
yeah.
musics. Like you have to
That
remember where all the
was-
music was.
That was also probably my favorite.
I
Yeah,
I
that's
actually
true.
got soft locked on that because I'm dumb. So basically, I didn't have the item. I never found the item. I never clicked on it for her to play that
Oh.
music.
Oh.
And then I was like, and then if you get past a certain part, I was like, where is this item? And then I was like,
Oh,
it kept
yeah, I have
going.
no idea.
It kept going, and I like literally probably spent 45 minutes sitting in the music room clicking on random things. And then I was like, it was like, go to the music room. I was like, fuck, it has to be something fucked up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into Poppy's room. And I just started clicking around Poppy's. I was like, God, motherfuck, dude. I was like, it's this? This is how you get it? I was like, because all the other ones, you don't talk to someone to play it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
click on something, or you
Right.
like active. So I was
Well,
like,
no, the gramophone you have to put something in.
yeah,
but you
but
don't
you don't
talk
talk
to someone.
to a
Yeah, yeah.
person, right? Yeah. So like I was like, okay, and I literally was like, am I just not clicking on something in the music room? I clicked on the piano. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, that was that. I think that was probably the most frustrating.
That's actually like my one, like, something that I was like really annoyed with is that, I just wanted something to tell you when you had clicked everything in the room. It's like I would just keep trying to click every
Yeah,
little thing
yeah.
to make sure, but then I would just hear the same fucking voice line again. And
Yeah,
start
just
clicking
speed
through
run
it.
that.
And
You don't
sometimes
have
you'd,
those
like,
detective instincts, Mitchell, like me and Paul do. The whole you gotta. First time I hit a room, I get everything. I make sure I get everything.
no,
and then
I did
leave.
get everything, but it annoyed me that I had to like double check and like click
Oh,
random
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Like just a little ding or something, right?
Mhm.
Or like a little shine or something would have been great to tell you, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
I think the only reason I have such a skill is because in Professor Layton, they hide hint coins in the map. So I became a master of just doing like, "Trrrr," but then I realized
I
there
don't
was a
like doing that, though.
theme. No, there was a theme to these
Oh.
hint coins. They were hidden in like trees, buckets, candles, and like house
Hmm.
windows. So there, I was so into this game. There became a point where I would just transition to a random scene. I look at it. I immediately know there's only 3 hint coins, and I would be like, bang, bam, bop. All right, we're moving on to the next scene.
Side note on other games that on this genre, like The most recent game I played that's similar to this that I really, really loved was, I think I've talked about it to all of you at some point, Heaven's Vault. I
Yeah, that's the
loved Heaven's
linguistics
Vault.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the linguistics one. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like
Oh yeah. Okay,
it's a very similar type of game, except it's more merged with like a telltale
should-
mechanic where
You
you
should
have
put that on the
narrative.
list, by the way.
Yeah, I mean I'll play it again, but not to spoil. That one has different endings, and that one you can. I love that game because as you're going through it, the way you got there matters. So you'll come to the ending
Yeah.
at different times, and they are brilliant because they let you fuck up. So like the whole mechanic for that puzzle game is you're trying to decipher a language, and you're going, okay, I think this is the character for water, and then you lock it in and you say, okay, this is my water character, then this and this, and as you keep going, it's brilliant because as you find artifacts, you can correct what you fucked up. So it'll be like, oh, and then you realize you messed up because it's not working in this situation anymore, and it's just really, really cool game. I like that game a lot.
interesting.
This game was cool.
I'm gonna keep
not
that
to
in
shout
mind.
out other
That's
games in there.
That sounds like a
Yeah.
That's definitely my next one.
Yeah,
Actually,
no,
I just
I
want
love
to
that
say
one.
sorry. I couldn't interject because the conversation got really juicy there. But I don't know if I'm stupid or not here. And this was a question that was burning when I was sleeping after playing this game. Was where the fuck did that ink block crab come from?
Oh, okay. I was gonna let's talk about it at the very end because I have some
You got some
with
juice.
the ending.
Okay,
It's
all
tied
right.
to the ending for my
Yeah.
guesses.
Yeah, does anyone have any other stuff about mechanics?
No, that's great.
Earlier, I just wanted to bring up a small counter argument to Paul saying that it would have been obviously really great if you had logical branching trees and many ways to play the game, but I think that would have been far too many. It would have been too much variation for
Too
like.
out of the scope for the game. They were
Yeah,
confident
because
intending to
if you
make.
think about it, like think about how many voice lines there are in the game. The most
Yeah.
we'll talk about it maybe later, but the most impressive part of this game to me is the voice, the sound, like, and the art design, right? And like they put so much effort into all the voice lines. If you introduce that level of variation in, then they have to make so many more, exponentially more voice lines. It's there's a reason people don't really do that. So.
Yeah.
Dude, I think Kevin, you're right, dude. I'm just looking for like the Dark Souls of puzzles games, but like
Well, it's
it
just
can't be
hard.
just like Baba Is You, bro. It's got to be like this logic shit.
The
It's gotta
branching
be
dialogue
quirky and
thing isn't
cute.
even the Dark Souls of puzzle games anymore. That's just straight up economically inviable.
Dude.
You'd have to make it for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I
You
actually
have to make
did
it happen,
download Baba
Paul.
Is You too, so I'll also give
Dude.
that a little shoot.
Baba Is You is one of the games that like I literally would need to take a break while playing. Like my brain, after solving some of them, my brain would hurt, and I'd be like, okay, I'm done for now, dude.
Bro, that's a good
And
game,
I
dude.
just
That's
leave.
a good game. I'm just
It
saying.
needs to be on the phone. I'm sorry, we're very tangented off, but it needs to be on the phone. I want it on my phone.
so we did talk about the mechanics, and I think in general they're pretty good. Obviously, a little handholdy, but not horrible.
To be
But I
expected,
think-
honestly.
yeah.
For this game.
But I think the real, maybe for me, the better half of it was definitely, I think, as everyone's kind of touched on, the art and sound design. So
Damn, are you
It's-
serious? I'm still number one on game mechanics. Like the art is a bonus for me,
Paul.
but the game mechanics are primary. No, sorry.
like I
Paul in a
know, I
nutshell.
meant like they can be. Like I'm not saying that
Yeah.
in general
Oh,
I
no,
prefer
no.
art. I'm saying, but for this game, the art and
Yeah.
music.
No, that's
yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
For this game, it's the mechanics.
It's
Uh,
literally
sorry.
that's Paul in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Except
Paul
when it comes to
doesn't care.
Hollow Knight for some reason.
Oh yeah, then the art's too much for you.
Yeah,
This guy
that-
doesn't play Hollow Knight, dude. Anyone in the comments roast him.
Oh my god.
To intro it, I think what was your favorite like character design wise?
I liked Freya's design, the top
Freya was
heavy
cool.
design. Her and Flora.
I liked I mean heterosexual. The femme fatale, they know themselves. Like I like Penny a lot because her
Yeah, Penny.
animations
Wait,
were very cute.
you mean pre-Penny or post-Penny?
Penelope. Just hold them by Penny and Penelope.
Yeah, Penny and Penelope. I like Penny with the bird hands and this
Mhm.
that little thing she would
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and then the face
I don't think that's
when
femme
she was.
fatale, but yeah.
No, I think she was their femme fatale. She's not a femme fatale. But
Ah,
she
yeah,
was
okay.
the femme fatale of the game.
For the uneducated, aka me, what?
Femme fatale means like the
Deadly female.
alluring female. Yeah, not necessarily deadly, but the seductive female of the game. I wouldn't have thought of her
Yeah.
as one, but in the art, if you look at it when you beat the game, they call her their femme fatale for the game.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
art
so-
gallery
Yeah,
is
I
really
like-
nice too.
Yeah,
the
I
concept art.
liked her wing
Femme
sleeves.
fatale in general, I think like the
Yeah, you think
platonic
of Bond.
ideal of that, which doesn't actually make sense, but like the ideal of a femme fatale would be most perfectly encapsulated, I think, by like Black Widow or something.
Dude,
right?
yeah, I was about to
Like,
say you better
Yeah,
not
yeah,
be
yeah.
spewing a dictionary description when there's Black Widow right now.
This little thing, and then her
Yeah.
face when you're like you have no friends. I was like, oh, that's funny. That's cute.
I also like her bird hat. I like her bird hat.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
just fucking left it.
Yeah. Character design definitely very. All the characters are very unique. You can feel their personality come through when your interactions definitely, and it's very interactions too. It's touching back to our criticism of Ruin King, where you felt like it was probably also an effect because we knew the characters better from the start, but you felt like you knew exactly what the characters were gonna say. I felt like there's a pretty good amount of, there was some depth to their personality in this game, at least. True, they were all
Yeah.
tropes, You had the shady, sort of like muscular guy who doesn't stoic, right? And then you had like the
It was great.
girl who likes to travel and into fashion, things like that, right?
Mhm.
But like even then, they had, at least some quirks to their personality where you'd be like, it's interesting what they're saying. It's not like I can always just tell what they're gonna say. So even though they are tropes, there's some. Like in general, their
it's-
art character design is also really unique, which is nice.
I think it's a benefit to the genre too because they feel like more because they're all trying to hide something in
Yeah.
the nature of the game, right? And then
Yeah.
when you uncover it, it kind of makes them expand a little bit as
Yeah.
a character, at least to me.
what was Terry's favorite design?
Penny probably. Design wise. I
think-
just love the wing sleeves too much.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
wing
it was
sleeves are
pretty
pretty
good.
cool.
I liked I think from art wise probably like Flora, because like every time
Mhm. Flora
the
was
hair
dope.
came in, I was like, oh, that's
Mm.
sweet. Um,
Or the
Like
first
the-
time you go up there,
yeah,
you're like,
Oh,
oh,
it's striking.
yeah.
how do you
she's
make something
weird
so
looking.
flat? Yeah, so flat, so uncolored, looks so striking. Like
Yeah.
it's very good. Well, sorry to get into it, they are very good at geometry with art. That's a really cool part where you can get into certain shapes convey certain thoughts to you as a person, and you'll notice like
Yep.
Freya, I believe she was like kind of a triangle, and
Yeah.
that kind of makes you think of her as something cunning, and you feel that way because you're like, did you kill her when you come in? And it kind of, I don't know, the colors and everything they were very
Especially with
masterful
her
You mean
with
literal
that.
Flora? You mean
silence.
Flora? Is
Or
cunning.
Flora, yeah,
Yeah,
Flora.
okay.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
I'm just
Actually,
like
I-
so confused. I'm like, Freya's supposed to be the innocent genius everyone loves.
And
thinking about it, I also
actually,
liked Sally's like
Yeah, so
circle.
I think it's
Yeah.
implied that she used to look more like normal, but then like slowly her face
hair
morphed that
just
way, which is why
bunched
she
up.
needs her special lenses that go like sideways across her face because her eyes just went to the sides of her face for some reason.
Wait, you mean Fifi
You're
or
talking about
Sally?
that's
Fiona
that's
Yeah.
me, bro. Sally's the assistant.
Yeah, Sally's
Sorry.
the assistant.
I get the names mixed up.
You can't even get that one mixed up. That's just two different letters now. All the F ones are the fellows.
Yeah.
Um,
Fifi
And
was
then-
cool too.
so that was my favorite. And Paul, you were trying to say something about art?
Well,
or-
This was actually as much as I say for me art was secondary. Another reason why I was attracted to and wanted to play this game was because this game's art design is very reminiscent of Professor Layton. One of the most that's why I love these two games a lot, even though this game kind of just fails a little in the story department. But one of the coolest things about Professor Layton, and you see this in this game as well. If you look at the concept art for Professor Layton, everyone has a distinct background shape. Like they're either circular, rectangular, triangular. They're all very distinct to the point where like if you just look at, and I know this is like an example of good character design, where if you just see the silhouette, you know what that person is.
Yeah, it's an axiom of character design. You need to be
Yeah.
able to immediately
You need to
identify a character.
Define them with the silhouette.
Yeah, and Tangle Tower is, I try to look out for these games as well, and I browse through Steam, go through the puzzles, and Tangle Tower is genuinely the only other game that comes close to me for a modern rendition of Professor Layton. It takes, in my opinion, it takes what Professor Layton's done with like the mystery solving, and the puzzles, right? Plus, it updates the art style because as much as I like the Professor Layton art style, I really like the bolder and like more colorful and vibrant aesthetic of this game. Like I would say the downside or like what Professor Layton's art style is more like it's kind of painty, so it's more brown, blues, and reds.
Sepia-ish.
But these are like every character has distinct bright colors. Poppy being the exception, but that in and of itself is different. I think what was really interesting is that they never use specifically flat colors. Like I remember Flora she was verbally described as wearing a black dress, but when you look at her in character, it's like a slight green, a dark green black color. And I've never seen any other game that has taken my favorite game and like elevated to another level. And so I love the art style of this game. And yeah, they should keep doing this. This is a beautiful game.
I think there's the first one though.
Yeah, well, I heard it wasn't as good. That's why I recommended this one over the other.
Mm,
Yeah,
that's fair.
but I love this game for its art. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
If you've looked at their
Definitely.
other works, and especially as Dim's art has evolved over the years, yeah, he's very into vibrant colors, you know, and the use
Oh.
of like pastels almost. It's evident in this game as well. My
Is
favorite
it
art.
Is it similar? Like the character designs, are they
I
similar?
think this one is definitely one of the most vibrant ones. Like it obviously continues to evolve,
hmm
but you can see like in his older games as well, it's like that as well. Or his other
Yeah,
works, I
I
should
took
say.
a look at like the previous game real quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, their art style seems more like flatter, I would say, because they
Yeah.
use
Like vector
more
art.
monotone colors. Like I
Yeah.
think what's not I don't know if you guys noticed, but Detective Grimoire has two colors in his hair. It's black and dark red. And I think a lot of other characters have like this like multi-shaded hair where it's like two different colors. And I think it just I'm not good with words for art, but it just makes it more vibrant, you know? It's not just flat as opposed to the first
I
Detective
think it's cell
Grimoire
shaded.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, whatever
beautiful.
style they put on it is very,
It's
very good.
Very
Kind of
American
hand
cartoony,
drawn.
Yeah.
I feel.
Oh,
Like,
and the animation.
It's
for
like
when
it's like
they all
adult
talk.
animation if they made adult animation not fucking ugly.
Not
Like-
Family Guy.
Like Rick and Morty, you know,
He's
or
a
like
hater.
or no, like Big Mouth or something. Like Bob's Burgers, they're all like the
Honestly,
character
yeah, I
designs are
kind of
just
agree. It's
so ugly, right? But
well, like,
it's like
Steven Universe is what would come close in my memory. with
nah,
most of them.
dude. I
Really?
think
That's
this
a kid's
blows
show.
I feel like
Steven
it looks-
Universe out of the water. This is
No, but
more
in
of,
the colors and all the stuff, like I can see it. So
I would
mean,
say this is more of Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you ever watched that show,
no, I have not.
now that
Never
show's a
watched.
fucking
Take your word for
Too
it.
many TMNT series.
true. But the
Uh,
animation's
Mhm.
beautiful. One thing that really broke my heart was when Professor Layton came out to 3DS. They started switching to 3D models, and it I feel like Capcom did it just to like do it, get updated because 3DS games are all about pushing technology, but they should have stuck with the 2D style. The 2D is like what defined Professor Layton. And when I see the beautiful animation of Tangle Tower, I'm just like, yes, this is what I'm looking for. This is what it should have been.
Don't worry, Paul. We all know you prefer
Yeah.
2D over 3D.
Oh, 100%.
Damn. Oh.
I got no words for that.
yeah. I
Um,
think character design was great because it conveyed a character in just like a single frame, and
Mhm.
it was amazing how
Yeah,
much
like-
how much personality they could put with just like really 3-4 frames of animation, right? They don't have
It's
many
because
poses.
of it's because of your favorite thing too, because every character had their own soundtrack.
Oh,
That
yeah.
helped a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or each room had its own soundtrack. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
in the characters
which was
too.
the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
Mm.
it definitely elevated their vibe, right? Like you go into Penny's room, it's this like hearted, playful tune. You go into Poppy, and like Poppy would be playing intense piano, then you click on her, and you're like, "Whoa, man! Oh, dude, her poetry to describe
about
Yeah,
every-
describe each
everyone else.
person.
Dude, like the screen just goes black.
My favorite part was how they interacted with each other. Dude, Fitz, the first time you see Fitz,
Yeah.
did you see him? I didn't.
Oh yeah, I saw him.
No,
I can see-
it took me a
Oh,
second. I was like, wait, isn't
I
that
saw
supposed
when
to
I
be
walked
John?
in.
clicked on half
Oh, yeah.
the room before I looked to the right, and I was like, "Oh my god, there's a guy there."
It's because your detective brain was in, bro. You were trying to hook up all the items. I walked
Yeah.
in, I saw him, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, me too. I'm
when I
like,
saw
oh, this
that,
is
I was
kind of
like, what the
weird.
flowers.
fuck?
Shiny.
Yeah, I was like, each room has a person obviously there. Where's the person? in
Where's
this room?
the-
Yeah,
Yes.
right. That's what I was like. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird that the gardener's not here. But
Oh my god.
I think art-wise, my favorite was Sally, because she had a really, really distinctive silhouette, and the colors, the contrast of the green and her eyeshadow was like magenta or something. That was really great. It was really
orange
popping.
or purple. Actually, no,
Yeah.
I like Hawkshaw.
Hank
Hawkshaw
Shaw.
was cool.
Hawkshaw?
Hawkshaw
I thought it was
was.
Hank Shaw. Was it not
Did
Hank
you
Shaw?
like
Was
how
it-
the hair was
Hawkshaw.
intentionally modeled to look like a detective's hat?
Oh,
If you look at her
really?
hair, go back and look at her hair. It looks like it's a hat. Seriously.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
It's
I mean, her
weird.
entire silhouette kind of is a detective vibe.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was made for that, right?
Dude,
Yeah.
I'll continue busting a nut to this like simple ass game. The map design, bro. Not only were the rooms distinct, when they like showed the chibified versions of the room, they capture all the details of the room, like the essential parts, in just the background. Like one of them was I think Fifi's room, and I was like, "What the fuck is this green room?" And then there's a giant ass magnifying glass, and then when you zoom in, there is a big ass magnifying glass. I'm like, "This is good. This is good. This is what I like to see."
It's good too because it tells you the main point of interest
Mm-hmm.
in the room too.
Yeah, because I
to
think
convey that
the
quickly.
crime scene one, you see Flora, the painting, and the body
Yeah.
in like the overworld map.
Yeah, everything is conveyed again very intuitively.
Anyone want to have a favorite room?
Freya's room when you enter for the first time, it has like a shock factor, right? Because you're like, really?
It's the contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah. From that perspective, I liked her room. the
Like as
best.
a
Wait, what do you mean?
storytelling device as opposed to an
Yeah.
artistic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily say like I.
Wait, I'm
this-
confused. What
Well,
feeling?
because like
Sorry.
the entire time in the story,
When you
Freya's
enter Freya's room, it's very
Yeah.
cramped, and even when you click on the
Dark,
painting, it tells you that it's a very
claustrophobic.
oppressive atmosphere, right? Like,
Oh.
yeah, it's kind of
Attic.
yeah.
it didn't strike me as strange. I don't know why.
Really?
You didn't notice the
'Cause I-
piping on the side and like the metal
Yeah.
plating,
Or just, like, the
and,
giant
the fact that
red-
it clearly wasn't
Yeah, the
supposed to be a
giant red.
bedroom. The vents,
Yeah.
there were vents everywhere
Yeah.
too.
Because everywhere else felt so
No
big and
windows.
open.
There were zero
Yeah,
windows in that
windows.
room. They comment on that as well.
Terry's like, this is my ideal room, actually.
No, yeah, I
That's
walked
good.
in that room and I was like, this is like a bunker. This is like a
Yeah.
closet.
Yeah,
It's all what you
yeah.
expected
This is
from
like
like
a
the
Harry
happy
Potter
artist,
moment.
right?
yeah.
That I would say that was the only one where I really felt like had a big
Mhm.
story. Most of it was just extensions of the trope, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Fitz's
Like
room
Fitz's-
is literally a
yeah.
bed and a shelf, nothing else.
Yeah.
So it doesn't tell me anything new, but it does extend the trope.
I like their secret romance. Not to tangent it too much.
Dude,
but,
that shit was easy as fuck. The moment I saw that PP, I was
Yeah.
like, get this out of here. Give me my logic that
Hey,
jumps
they're
this
both
shit.
PPs, bro.
Yeah, they're
No,
both
I know,
PP.
but I saw that shit coming from a mile away. I saw that dead flower. I'm like, this ain't the PP I want. I know the real PP.
No,
It's
but
trying to get that PP.
I did really like the tower rooftop garden,
Oh, the rooftop garden, yeah.
because the first time I opened, I was like, wow, that is like all of the art is really good. But I was like, damn, I would very much want to be there.
I think I really am a sucker for just the start of the game, I think. Because I like Flora's tower when you walk in.
The top.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's just very clear. Everything you need is all right there. In fact, I didn't realize how obvious, like obviously there was a twist in the story, but I didn't realize how obvious the room was making it, because first off, it's open, you see the body, but did you guys notice there's a fucking eye on
Yeah,
the roof?
there's an eye on the
Yeah, I
ceiling
did.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
literally
Yeah,
like,
that
look
was,
here.
I was like, fucking genius. I didn't even, my detective brain, I didn't even see that. Until I like, things were coming together and I looked up again, and I was just looking at the room because I'm like, damn, I like this room. And I was like, oh fuck, there's an eye up there too, what the?
That
It's
was one of
so-
the things for me.
Yeah.
at least, where I saw the eye and then like they commented like I was like, oh, is there something above there? But you couldn't actually go up there till like
Mhm.
halfway
Mhm.
through the
Yeah.
story, halfway
Yeah.
through the investigation. That was when I was like, I just want to go up there now. Like, there has to be something up there, right?
Yeah.
To be fair, I just thought it was a painting of an eye, but it made sense once Once there was
Yeah,
attic
everything came
removed.
together.
I didn't
And I
think
had
there
the
was an
same
attic. but yeah.
feeling when they were saying something like, "There's a lot of heat coming out of the wall of Penny's room." And I was
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's in the
Yeah,
center
yeah.
of the house. There's something going on here. Let me
Wait,
go
so
over there.
when Penny said that, like, I actually didn't have the opportunity to go back to Penny's room, but could someone like
if you click on the bed, it'll tell you that there's a lot of heat coming out of the wall.
Mhm.
Oh, well, was the paint also peeling? Because that's like one of the things she brought up.
I don't know.
Okay.
think
That's
it
one of the
might
things
have been.
I don't think so,
Penelope
but-
brings up, that the
Yeah.
paint on her wall would constantly be.
No, I
Yeah.
know she brings it up. I don't visually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't think
if you
that was
click
a
on the
pinch.
bed, it will tell you that there's just a lot of heat coming on,
Yeah.
or like near the bed, it'll tell you.
Interesting.
And I just
Yeah.
I think in general, yeah, really just great art all around. Animation's amazing.
sound design.
Yeah. And
No,
yeah,
it's
the
not
music.
great, dude. It's magnificent, bro.
The
They
music
play
can't
was
understand
Freya.
this
They play
good.
Freya's music specifically for the two characters that get sad when you ask them about Freya, for example.
Mhm.
Fifi and Poppy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
I really want to bring this game up because I think it needs to be brought up really high because it's gonna be brought back down.
Yeah, well, the music,
Yeah.
as an aside, was like really good. It's kind of like very like Danny Elfman, who did it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like all the Tim Burton stuff. I thought it played really nicely. It was kind of like Disney-ish, but like dark Disney almost.
No, don't say
when you're just
Disney.
exploring.
Don't taint that game with Disney. I'm sorry.
Hey, Disney
Disney
Disney's
music?
good, man.
Yeah, Disney music is really fucking good, I gotta say. And yeah, a couple notes from like people's like themes. I liked Penelope's theme had some like
Mhm.
bird vocals, like they're like so if
Yeah.
you go back and listen, you'll hear like the music making bird noises. Poppy's is obviously just like, I think only a solo piano, which makes sense. And then I like the Uncle Fitz, I think,
Felix?
the
Or
explorer.
Felix.
Felix.
Felix. Yeah, I like how his is just like, it sounds like an ocean-faring adventure.
Yeah, it's like a voyage, but also if you listen to it, like the actual soundtrack, it starts really like loud and bombastic, like an actual like action movie, and then it goes down into a more like sadder like sadder like adventure theme, you know, like, which is kind of what he is, right? He's like a fake adventurer, but
Yeah,
he,
yeah. He's faking it.
he's faking it and he's not actually happy. So I thought that was a nice little touch too. Those are the ones like I noticed, but I think in general, the music overall was like really, really good. Like I've actually listened to the soundtrack afterwards because I thought it
Damn.
was really good.
This guy's going above and beyond. I'm a deaf motherfucker, so like I don't remember any of the music. It's good. I just say it's good, but like I don't really remember.
I'm too busy clicking on everything on the screen.
100%, 100%. That's where the FPS training comes into play.
The music though, really good.
Mhm.
All right. So I guess, does anyone have anything else they want to say about sound, art, music?
10 out of 10. This is the 10 out of 10 part.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
will say actually, to wrap up, like the game, like I would not have enjoyed the game if it wasn't such a joy to like look at and be in,
And listen to, yeah.
Yeah. because
yeah. That's what breaks my heart
acting.
too.
the puzzles, like I'm not a
Mhm.
puzzle, like as you can probably tell, I'm not a puzzle game. I fucking hate puzzles. I would never play a puzzle game, but
He's a puzzle hater.
the art was good enough that like it made me enjoy.
Mhm.
Like, you know, it's like, oh wow, it's pleasant to play because of how
Mhm.
quality the art and sound design was overall.
Made it lovable. Like the cast was lovable, right? Mhm.
I gotta say, it's 10 out of 10 for game design, 10 out of 10 for art. But I just want to say my overall score is an 8 out of 10. So something's gonna bring this average down. I'm just saying.
What's bringing it down, Paul?
Oh, you
Tell us. It's time to get into that story.
Yo, you got no leading questions this time? Because I gotta
That
fucking
is a
flip into
leading
this
question,
game.
bro.
Oh my god, dude, the story is like the biggest blue ball you could ever receive, man. That start,
Yeah.
it's good, it's strong. You start unlocking shit, it gets a little dark, you're like, this is going places. Then all of a sudden, it just hits you with, no, that's it. I'm
It's
just gonna
the
leave now.
ending. It's just
Yeah.
the ending.
Yeah,
The
it's just it,
ending
that's
was
just it.
It felt very rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to tie it together too with why the ending double sucked because gameplay wise, you usually start hand holdy and strict,
Yeah,
and then you
and it-
open up.
Right.
But this one went open
It's
to tight, and it just kind of reinforced that lackluster ending.
yeah.
I think it felt
just-
very abrupt too because so much of the game is in the first act, quote unquote, where you're freely going around asking
Right.
things.
Yes.
But then as soon
Yeah.
as you enter, like, I don't know if it's strict, but when you enter like the laboratory
Yes.
sequence, it all
Yeah.
starts rushing
Yeah, it's
very
done.
quickly. Oh,
Yeah,
this room,
yeah.
3 clues, and then you start talking to Sally. Oh, this room, 3 clues, start talking to Sally. Then you're at the final part, like, wait, it's already over.
Yeah.
Like this
Damn,
last
that
part
is
was
so
like 2
accurate, yeah.
hours compared to like, you know.
Did you guys have an idea of who done it before it was more obviously
Who done
revealed?
it?
I thought this was
I
about to
did.
pull some
But
like
when
Not
when
really.
do you consider it? When do you consider it more obviously revealed?
Okay, not more obvious. Did you figure out who done it before they revealed who did it?
No.
I couldn't.
Well, like literally revealed who did it, or when you saw.
I
who did it
had
in the room?
I had like when by the time I entered the study, I
the study.
had like a 70% guess on
I
like if you asked me I would
hated
say
the-
you know.
I hated that they were the same person. So Hawthorne, Penelope, same person.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was
I thought
stupid,
it was
like,
I thought it was the 3 of them as a group
I thought it
because
was
that
some,
made more sense to me.
Yeah. Murder on the
yeah,
Orient
yeah, yeah.
Express, where everyone did something or something.
I was like, so you're telling me when I walk from Penelope's room to Hawthorne's area,
You're
she's
just-
able to get there before I am?
Yeah. I honestly thought that Penelope hired someone to act as her. Like I don't really, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, because
That would have been better.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I was
like that.
very
Yeah.
disappointed that they didn't explain that. Maybe
Yeah.
I missed it, but like,
Nah.
No, I don't think they did.
yeah, it was just. 'Cause as soon as you
Well.
mount the scope on the crossbow, you already know, like,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah.
Where were you on it, Terry?
I'm usually in these games where like I don't really ever figure it out. Like I'm usually along for the rides. And I don't take time to like think about the clues. Like, oh, what's the point of this? Same thing. Danganronpa. All the cases, I'm just along for the ride. I'm not thinking really about who done it until the question comes up. and
No,
it's,
I
like,
love,
super
I
obvious.
love. You gotta love trying to
Yeah, you
figure it
gotta
out
solve it
they
before
tell
the
you.
game takes you
It's
there.
been a
I-
long time since I played a puzzle game, but I did try a little bit in this game. Like when I encountered the. Do you guys remember the chalkboard and it had like the periodic table things on it, and the one in the greenhouse? I was like, these look kind of important, so I actually literally wrote them down and like drew them out.
I
on
took a
Did
picture
the
on my
periodic
phone.
table ever come back?
It's one of those achievements you can get for like finding
Yeah.
all the periodic things and piecing things together.
No, but I was so
I don't think
disappointed.
it was vital
You
to the story.
click on a table in the laboratory, and it's like, here they are, and you don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so this is just a waste of time. It looks so important, but it was just a waste of
Yeah.
time. But like,
I actually,
or yeah. Oh well, I was just gonna say. Usually, when this also applies to a lot of media I enjoy, but whenever you're consuming this stuff, I tend to create a running theory, right? And like I pre-assemble the evidence.
I think that's
and
more of what I
place
do.
it.
Like I don't like stop to think about it. I more create like run things as I'm going along.
Yeah,
But
but your
this game I
theory
like-
evolves as you discover, right? More because initially I'm obviously on the game. I'm pretty sure intends for you to be on Percival,
Mhm.
and then you
Yeah.
kind of piece it together, and so
But I
yeah.
think this one
So-
I actually had no idea until they revealed it. Oh,
Yeah,
until
I've-
you start piecing together the whole bird was also there.
Yeah,
When you
Oh,
start
when you
doing
saw
that part of the
Hawthorne?
crime scene.
yeah.
When it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, what's this part of the sketch in the drawing that's like
Yeah.
not. I was like,
I was 70% sure it was Hawk. Whatever her face
Hawk
was,
Shaw.
Hawkshaw.
Yeah.
but
Hawthorne?
then
Hawkshaw? Yeah. Hawk.
yeah,
The
and
detective,
then
the other detective.
and then
Well,
it was
her
still,
picture was in the study.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, did they make a costume for her? Is she hiding someone? And I was like, okay. But the penny part, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was still a reveal for me because like, oh, Hawkshaw is actually Penny, and then I was like, wait, that's fucking bullshit. How did she get to the two places? That felt like a bit of a cop out to me, to set up the reveal like that because it just doesn't physically work
so just
out.
to recap
If they had
the ending,
told me
because-
that there was a
Yeah.
body double, I would be like, oh, that's sick, oh, you got me.
Yeah,
But I feel a little cheated.
And how cool would it have been if you could pick out differences between them? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
or something like that on the body doubles. Yeah, that would have made it feel more satisfying.
Can I now bring up the question about like where the fuck did that crab come from? It's bugging me. So do you guys remember when you first get the imp block crab, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
There's
just
a
yeah.
lying
note
there.
Freya.
from Freya,
Yeah.
but Freya's actually
Matching-
dead.
So I think that the motive was whack because it's possible maybe Penelope was working to fake Freya's death. That's the only thing that could rationalize it for me. Like I was,
That's why she
because
just
her
gave
motive,
herself up so
her
easily.
motive was so weak. She gave herself
Yeah.
up so easily, and like it perfectly matched Freya's handwriting. And you don't even know who hired you, and you've never seen Freya's body. So I was like,
Yeah,
that's
I,
the only thing
I
where I
thought
was
Freya
like,
was low-key
I-
still alive. That's what I thought
I like
was.
that theory.
yeah. It makes
No, I
the
thought she
ending
was
feel
like trapped
better.
inside the ink blot or something. Because it was like a soul or something. I
No, because like
could
the
not figure it
story
out.
also makes up like during that dialogue where it's like Freya was not supposed to die. She's too good for this
Yeah.
world.
Well, she didn't. Penelope didn't want to. She said she had to kill Freya because she saw that she killed all of the other people, right?
Yeah.
Like
The
yeah, that was her motive, but it felt very weak.
Wait, so Freya killed everyone else, like the other ambassadors?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, the ones who
implied.
left.
It's implied. Dude, she crossed
she-
out
yeah.
their eyes. Like,
Oh, I thought it was Penelope who killed all of them. That's why I was really confused by
no,
that.
yeah.
No,
no,
it
it
was,
is.
yeah.
Penelope.
It is
did- yeah.
Penelope.
No, I'm talking about like why did Freya have to die?
Because Freya witnessed it, or she knew.
Oh,
She knew Penelope was Hawkshot, and I guess that pissed her off enough to want to. Like, it's not a very good motive, honestly. It's
yeah,
just-
yeah, okay.
Well, I thought she knew Penelope killed the ambassador.
Yeah, that's
I think
what
she pieced it together.
that's-
I think she also pieced that together, but it's just like
Yeah.
it's just still not, very.
Yeah,
Also,
like,
you can see the
convincing.
issues with it because we can't even figure out what happened.
yeah.
I
'cause
think okay.
I was
I think
lost in the
that's all
sauce,
irrelevant,
bro.
to be honest. It's just the fact that killing her at the end of the day was like just so extreme. I think okay.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that too.
the crab thing is never explained, but I do think it's intentional. To get you to
Yeah.
theorize. There's multiple explanations I can think of. Like
Like
one
what?
of them is Fifi, and they say specifically Fifi and Poppy were getting really close to figuring out themselves.
Yeah.
So they could have left it for the detective to find so that he could get in there. There's also potentially I think Penelope also did this. Actually, really wanted to get revealed, like not out of a. Maybe out of a guilt thing. I don't know. But it feels like a lot of her actions are very she seems very content with being quote unquote captured, right? But
Yeah.
obviously she's not really captured because at the end she
Yeah.
gets away. So like it could also have been Penelope who left that intentionally for the detective. So she gets set up their grand, confrontation at the end, right? At the top of the
I don't
clock
know,
tower, and the
'Cause
villain
she was
just
planning
gets
to
away.
escape.
Huh?
Yeah, that was her whole point.
She could have just taken she should have just taken the bug and left. She
I
wouldn't
think
have
okay.
helped.
I think to be honest, from like a psychological standpoint. Now we're getting deep into theory, baby. Like Criminal Minds, right? And like how serial
Yeah.
killers really like to elaborately set up their scenarios, make it extremely intricate and complex, so they want to show off. It's almost like art for them, And I think Penelope almost wanted to get caught so someone could witness her great creation, her whodunit, right? Like, and then there was no one kind of thing,
She
and
didn't give
then
that vibe
she
though.
could get
No,
away.
I
Yeah.
think
No, I think
Jeff, I
I
think
got
you
sadistic, like
overcomplicated
sort of psychopath vibes. Clearly,
I
from
got
the
crazy
way.
vibes because she killed someone for something so simple, but I didn't get the mastermind.
Dude, she identity
serial
switches all the
killer vibe.
time, and then she clearly emotionally manipulates you to produce results. And she's very detached throughout the entire end portion of the game, emotionally, right? If you
Yeah.
listen to her talk about other people as well, she's clearly just separated from them. It could be because of physically she feels not connected, but also you could also describe it as this is just I'm just saying there's many possibilities here, but I did get the sense of emotional indifference, which could be a symptom of psychopathy, sociopathy, I should say. And then that would set up this sort of serial killer kind of theory where she wanted to show off.
Yeah.
But I also kind of do agree that she maybe could have faked her death.
the vibe I got was more of she wanted to know more about her family and why family members are just disappearing, why are they fucking off, and she finds out about these mistids and they're so obsessed with them, and they're so obsessed to the point that they don't want to share this knowledge with her, and this is this is the moment where she has like no sense of belonging. And so I imagine, because none of this is explicitly stated, so this is all interpretation. So I imagine what happened is she probably found these people, these ambassadors, right, across different parts of the world, and that's where she's exploring. And she probably got so fed up with them that she just killed them right there because she was so upset that these people are just like so deranged that that has left her like so emotionally vulnerable. And so she kept doing that, going through the list. And I think the why she the whole setup at the end was because if she had, from a mystery writing point, if she had just left, right? Because she killed the person, she killed Freya, and she all she needed was the golden beetle. But if you think about it from like a mystery writing point of view, if you had two characters suddenly disappear just as the murder happened, that would be very suspicious. So I think one of the reasons why she stayed behind was because, like, kind of like how she planted the knife as a red herring, how it distracted everyone. I think her whole plan was not to get revealed, but more of wait for things to die down, wait for there to be so much confusion that like once things die down, then she could just take the golden beetle and travel and leave. But clearly, Detective Grimoire and Sally had like uncovered everybody, and that was the whole, or like uncovered a lot of everybody, and started to like figure like these things don't make sense, and then they discovered the hidden study and stuff. Like that's why she calls them out too. She's like, I bet you guys think you have it all figured out, right? But you don't. And it was this is very much more reminiscent to me of of uh of like a final standoff kind of thing. Like that's that you commonly see in
that's what I was just talking about though, with the final confrontation. Like she wanted that.
Yeah.
I don't think she want. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think she wanted it. It's more of
Like
well,
it ruined her plan.
yeah, it's like she knows her plan has been foiled by these two detectives, and so she has to do the only thing she can do, which is just to grab the beetle and get out. And that's why it was in the form.
But she can't. She didn't grab the beetle.
Yeah, she couldn't
you mean
because
she wanted
everyone
to.
else
Yeah,
had came in.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, all she could do was escape.
I would agree with your assessment, and she does say specifically she stays for the beetle, but we don't know if we can trust her word or not because she's shown to be very duplicitous, right? Like she's clearly willing to lie.
I think another point about the beetle was she made a point about how like it's 90% gold, and like the Professor Pointer was only into it for the gold. But it to me it had implied that she found something else about the beetle. Like there's some and I might be tripping here, but I swear to God, there's some like life giving juice in there or some shit like that. I think I was reading one of the texts and it just says it lives for a long time, but I might be wrong.
All the Mystids have some like weird,
like trait to it.
I don't know. I want to say earlier. Okay, when you were literally saying she went to the Misted ambassadors and she was so disappointed in them that she killed them.
Yeah.
This doesn't come off as psychopathy to you? Think about it. Like, she went to find people and she was so disappointed in them, she killed them.
She's in a disconnected family trying to figure out purpose. She's like, why the fuck
killed them,
why
Paul. She didn't
noises?
just, she didn't just like disown them. She killed them. Like,
I don't know. I think
like,
it's really just what you're saying about like
it is
her killing Freya being extreme. It's like, yeah, her killing these ambassadors is also kind of extreme.
Yeah, exactly. My point is that she is a psychopath. This is just more credence for the psychopath theory I have going, which is like no reasonable person would have that sort of reaction. Do you understand? Like,
yeah, but okay.
For her to react that way, it's just, and I also just can't really see her caring that much about life-giving juice. The way her character is presented, obviously she might be lying. She might be lying, but in terms of goals, it seems like she really doesn't care about materialistic things. She explicitly describes the others, right, as like being too into that. And it seems like what she really wants, all she wants, is a sense of belonging or a point of meaning to life. So her, like, to me, her excuse regarding the golden beetle was just an excuse to, you know, convince herself that, oh, I'm really here for the beetle. But to me, it felt a lot more like showing off to the detective, right? This is my motive. This is my grand plan, right? Like, and you couldn't even catch me at the end, kind of thing, you know? Like,
no, because like I don't know, it doesn't feel that confrontational. Like it seems to be like a heist move rather than like a, because there's nothing better to do, as opposed to like this was intentional. Like I don't get the vibe from her that she wants to show off. That she did this all to attract attention. Like I don't get that vibe.
I don't think she fully did it to attract attention either. But I think that was like I think it could be a significant element of it, because I don't really think anything else really makes sense in terms of why she would kill people. Right?
Well, no
like,
one
how
really
else do
knew
you
about
describe
these
that?
ambassadors per se either, though.
Like, what could the ambassadors have possibly done that would make her want to kill them?
Like giving her the reason of like questioning her entire life. That's what it seemed like.
Okay, but when someone makes you question your entire life, do you want to kill them?
Like stab them.
Yeah, and then you want to kill
If
all
I realize
of
that
them?
these people are like deranged people that left me in a fucked up state, yeah, it's like. I can
But
see
they
it.
It didn't
didn't
sound
leave
like they
her
were
in a fucked
deranged
up
though. They
state.
just left.
she explicitly said she
They
was
were boring.
disappointed by them. She didn't say,
Oh
like,
yeah, she was disappointed.
she was
by that,
fucked by them. She wasn't out for revenge. She was just trying to figure something out, and she was disappointed by it. And if your reaction to that is to kill them, I feel like there's
Okay,
some
well,
mental
yeah.
health issues going on
Okay,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got it. I don't know. I think like this is where the game really falls apart for me. Is that like
Yeah, definitely. Like the beginning is so interesting, like
Yeah.
you said, and then the ending is kind of, oh, here I am, and then you tie her. She even asked to be tied up, right?
Did anyone
She
choose
even
not to
asked to
tie
be
her?
tied up. She shows up, and then she even asks you to tie her up, and then she tells you everything.
I'm assuming
Did she
you
have
don't tie
earplugs
her.
in or some shit?
Yeah,
How did
she
she not
definitely
get? How did
did.
she not get blasted by the
Well,
by the
'cause
bug
she
too?
definitely knew about it.
Yeah, so she had.
She probably
She
did
was
something.
Maybe
I
she
don't
reacted
think
in
that was
time and plugged her
explained
ears or
either,
something.
but
I
she
don't know.
probably came prepared. This is why I think she
Yeah.
wanted to get captured. Like, honestly, I don't know. Nothing else really makes sense to me. Also, why was she even like?
But then
I
she
don't
wouldn't
know.
have left because she tried to break away at the end. She
Yeah.
didn't try to get captured. She got captured if that's what she wanted.
No, like that was
Right,
the
and then-
setup. It's to put you in like a false sense of security. That's why it was really tense when you see the bird. It's like, wait, the golden beetle is still here, and you see the bird
Yeah.
above the gramophone. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Also,
Like, it
I think, I'm
seems
assuming if you don't tie
very-
her up, she actually makes it out with the golden beetle and like changes the ending slightly. I imagine.
I don't think.
I don't
Don't
think
you
so.
have to tie her up?
I don't know.
Yeah,
no,
you
you
have
there's
to
an
tie her
option.
up.
There's
no.
like you could just
There's
Oh,
an
you
opt
option
could
to
out.
say
say
no.
no. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I thought it was just a click. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's the option to say
There's
like,
an option.
no, she's like,
Yeah.
tie her up, yes, and then brings you to the evidence list, and you click on the red rope from
Yep.
the crossbow.
Alright.
So you didn't tie her
But you
up?
can
What,
say no.
Mitchell?
I thought you
No, I
had
didn't.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you had to as well.
There was an option to say no.
It also just feels poetic to tie her up with the weapon part of the weapon that she used to kill. You know.
That's why this game is like
Yeah.
such a good example of like it nails the moments, but damn, does it fumble the story so hard.
Like, I think the
Ending,
setups are
I
good,
think you
yeah.
mean.
But
Yeah.
like the actual logic that connects them falls apart.
Yeah,
Um,
Mhm.
like usually hallmarks of good mysteries are everyone has to have a motive, but it's like one
Well,
of
she
these
does have a
motives are
motive,
stronger than the
quote-unquote.
other.
it's just
that's
like
what-
a poor
Well,
motive.
Yeah.
Normally, you want to be able to draw it all the way back, but at no point does she ever
Yeah,
like
there's no
flip?
hint.
You know that like she's involved with methods or is actually a completely different personality. It's just kind of out of the blue. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly,
unearned,
exactly. I
think.
wouldn't
It's
say
the,
it was
what
a,
is the fallacy? The trap door, right? Of mystery. Like no one likes it when it's the trap door. Like they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
or
how did they
something.
get away from the scene? It's a trap door.
Oh,
it's like a
yeah.
meme, right? Yeah.
It like it needs to
That's
be
what
something
the-
you see. Yeah, that's like what that's why
That's what
Sherlock
the
Holmes
swap
sucks.
felt.
Chekhov's gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you show it, then you
That's
use it.
slightly different.
Yeah, slightly different, but yeah.
Chekhov's got slightly different. Chekhov says if there's an object, a fancy object that shows up in Act 1, it better be used in Act 2.
Yeah, but that's kind of what you want out of a mystery,
Yeah,
right? You
you-
don't want to.
This
Yeah,
this shit
yeah.
better
You
be
want to
relevant.
plant a Chekhov's gun, essentially.
the detective fiction. You know, they've written. Very famous writers have written rules on what needs to happen for like detective fiction to be good. And like Mitchell said, one of them is you need to be able to draw the line back that has been there since the beginning. So you feel like you could have reasonably come to this conclusion on your own, but for whatever reason you did not, and thus the reveal feels brilliant because it was there all along. But yeah, in this game, the reveal somewhat is ham-fisted. Again, one of the big ones to me is the fact
Yeah.
that Hawk I can't remember her name.
Hawkshaw.
Hawkshaw is always there as if is
Yeah.
always presented completely separately from Penny, despite the fact that they are the same character. There's completely zero indication that they could be, like one of the rules is, if I remember correctly, is that things cannot be like magic. It must be explainable, within like the bounds of reason, and that breaks my suspension and disbelief that they could move that fast between scenes, right?
Oh yeah, that's what I've kind of thinking about. It's just a little bit of tangent. I thought what this mystery was going to be, right? Was that I thought once you confirm the existence of magic, and you confirm that there's this underlying logic of the magic, that the mysteries all of a sudden make sense. Because one thing that really bothered me was the consistency of everyone's like movements. Usually, you can find consistencies or inconsistencies, and that's how you like uncover that, okay, this person was actually doing this person was actually doing, but this one everyone is consistent. And so I thought it was pulling like a Murder on the Orient Express, where everyone
Me too.
was in on the
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah. And so that's why I was thinking, like, it's either that or there is some sort of magical logic going on where if you just know that this one thing is possible, then everything makes sense. But
Well, no,
it
I
shows
thought that was sorry. I thought that was fine because the consistency of the movements in the timeline is immediately contrasted with your discovery of the attic.
Yeah.
Like you immediately know that there is additional information being discovered that would throw everyone. It just means that essentially there's an unknown actor, like right,
Yeah.
and there's an unknown actor who has committed the crime because everyone else has a consistent story, which made sense to me, right? There's just someone in the background, but
I just found that to be
And,
like
the reveal solves it, right? Because Penelope was confirmed by Hawkshaw.
yeah.
And like yeah.
And but like it doesn't. Yeah, like I agree with the fact that there was no build up to the, like there was just a lot of good moments, but not like at the end where it's like, oh, this is cool.
I would have been extremely dissatisfied if they introduced magic. I was suspecting that there might have been magic involved because of the nature of the Mistids, right? Obviously, but I will. That's what this is just one of. I was saying earlier that rule. I can remember the rule now. Is that the system that is introduced to the reader must be consistent from the outset. Like, for example, the reader must know that gravity exists and that things fall as they would on Earth, for example, right? At no point in the story can you make it so that, oh, but this is different, like halfway through, because that just feels cheap and unfair, right? You can't suddenly change the rules of a system that have been pre-established. So that's why it would have been very unsatisfying if magic is suddenly introduced, because it's a completely new element you are unaware is even possible within this universe,
But I think for games that provides like an interesting reason to backtrack, because like
sure, okay, if you upend the system and you allow the players a new chance to reorganize their thoughts, re-examine everything regarding the new system, that's fine. But the way the game was heading, it was clearly heading towards an end, and I would have been extremely dissatisfied if they just pulled out, it's actually magic right at the end, and that's why the existing ending is unsatisfying. Because it doesn't line up with your conceptions of how time and space work. Hawkshaw should not have been able to move to where Penny was.
They just needed to put a door in Penny's room or something. You know?
They just needed to write a fucking mystery.
There literally just needed to be something where you felt like...
Yeah, like, they showed you like a door opening up to the outside, and you're like... and
that's how she got there before you did. Yeah. Anything, right?
Yeah.
It would have just been fine. But...
yeah.
Nah,
I guess technically she lives in a bird cage, so she can just jump out the cage and like flap
and fly with her
hands.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
Yeah, it's not great though. And also, as an aside, like the Fitz and Poppy romance is kind of like hinted at. Like you think it might be like emotive or something, and then it's completely dropped.
It's a herring, I think.
Yeah,
but it's such an obvious herring.
I would say that that is what tipped me off to the Penny thing, because I was pretty sure it was Hawkshaw, right? Obviously, and then as soon as you get the crossbow scope on, you're like, okay, it was Hawkshaw, right?
Yeah.
But then I had a pretty good guess for Penny because she was the one shown to be next to Percival, because she's the one shown to be most emotionally unstable and the one most likely to actually, because if you talk to Poppy about those things, she's kind of whatever about it. She clearly doesn't actually care that much. She's just learning about flowers, really, right?
Yeah.
Like she shows no indication of actually, but like in terms of Penny's, the thing is, because of Penelope, we also don't know if that was just an act or not. So Well,
Right.
that's like hindsight.
Yeah.
But like in the moment, you sort of get a feeling that Penny's emotional instability makes her a prime candidate for.
Dude, I don't know. I
Coming.
actually thought that was just her character. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that's a little too reedy.
When you say you're going to kill someone, I mean she was paranoid, but
It just
crime
seemed to me
crime of
like
passion,
okay,
bro.
she's
It
just-
means she has the capacity to kill. Do you understand what I mean? Like, so a lot of people don't have that.
Did she explicitly say like I want to kill Poppy or something?
The
or-
note said, "Now I'm gonna."
No,
Wait.
the note, her in her room.
Yeah.
was
Oh,
I'm
like,
gonna
I'll
get her?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
maybe it wasn't kill. All right, maybe. All right,
Yeah,
all right.
it was I'm
Yeah.
gonna get her.
Also,
alright.
like that kind of shit happens in like mysteries as well. Like it could have just been a red herring as well. Like a lot
No,
of
I
people.
know,
It
I
was-
know, but to
Yeah.
me, in the moment, obviously, you consider it a significant evidence because she admits to
Yeah.
it as well. Within that character, she admits to her jealousy and her
Yeah,
instability.
but that's why I was
so,
just like, it must be a red herring. That's why I personally brushed it off like that.
It was interesting because, like, yeah, like the group thing. Like, I thought it was Pointer, Hawthorne, Hawkshaw, and Penelope because they confirmed each other.
Percival, right?
Like, I was like, how?
Yeah.
Yeah, Percival. Yeah, I was like, it didn't. I just could not fathom that Penelope and Hawkshaw were the same character.
Yeah.
I
And
thought
I
it
mean,
was
they kind of
Hawkshaw
point
and
It doesn't
to
make
Penelope.
sense physically. You can't imagine
Yeah.
that because in the system it breaks down.
Yeah, yeah. So I literally was like, okay, so it's the three of them as a group, and like Hawkshaw, did they hire like some actor or something?
That's why I
and
thought it was a
there's this
body
costume
double
here?
when she revealed
Yeah.
it. And then
But
she
actually,
never mentions
before-
it.
Yeah, before we got there, I actually thought it was Felix before you got into the lab,
Oh.
because Felix was the only one that was unaccounted for in the
Mm,
moments
yeah.
things took place.
Because he
he
goes
went
to
into
Fitz's
Fitz's
bedroom
room.
and then encounters
Yeah, yeah.
Penelope.
So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he could have done it, went into Fitz's room, then they passed by, then went back down, then talked to his daughter,
That's fair.
and then went back up.
Yeah. But there's
And
not
that's
really
who I
a
thought it was
motive for
for.
him killing Freya.
Yeah, he
So-
didn't have the strongest motive, but he was the only one.
Well,
when
When
you-
it's a weird thing
Yeah,
that
I think.
Freya ran out of red paints because Felix stole it and then just
Yeah.
used her own blood.
No.
No.
Or
No.
use blood
as
Hawkshaw swapped it out to set up the
Yeah.
the
really?
the crime scene
Yeah,
so that it looked
yeah.
like more, yeah.
There was a
Yeah, I got
knife.
confused.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of missed that too, maybe.
Hawkshaw switches out the thing for blood, I believe.
Yeah. Felix did switch with
Yeah,
her,
I
but
remember
then
that.
Hawkshaw swapped.
That was the red herring. That was it switches,
Yeah.
but that switch doesn't matter. The actual switch
I
that
actually-
matters is
I actually thought it was a plant shovel, because she was standing in front of a plant.
Oh come
I
on,
thought it
bro!
was a
That is
plant
clearly
shovel.
not a plant shovel.
The pointy trowel or whatever.
No, it looks like a trowel, bro. I thought it was because like feather until you like see it.
I
was
didn't
like,
think
it's
it was
not-
a
I was like-
feather, but I didn't think it was a plant shovel.
Well, it definitely wasn't a knife.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
wasn't a
So it
knife.
was-
Yeah.
So a trowel, because it looked the same color as the dirt that she used. I was like, oh, okay.
All right, we're pushing it. We're pushing it.
earlier, Paul, you said that the note thing was a red herring, but like, yeah, maybe obviously, in many books it would be a red herring. But the thing is, there's just no better candidates for me. Like, who else would be better suited to being? Like, that's why
I
I'm
was
saying
just
it
keeping
wasn't
my
a red
options
herring.
open, but like
Yeah.
I didn't realize how quickly this game was like moving. So
Yeah.
that by the time I had moved past it, that's when I got railroaded, and I was like, "Whoa, what? That's it? Like
Yeah.
that's all the game has to offer."
For
and that's
most
when
of
I
the
got
game, I would say it was on Percival, but
like, yeah.
yeah,
That's why I thought it
Uh,
was just a red herring, and I just didn't even think about it afterwards because I was like, "Well, now I'm on this ride, so I might as well watch it through."
I just
like,
kept her
wha-
on the short list, because it made her a prime suspect still at the end of the day, because it did happen.
Yeah.
So
I think for me, it's kind of like Terry. You get caught up once they start railroading you, and you just go next.
yeah,
instead of,
because
like,
there's a
really
lot of
thinking about it.
exposition dumped at you at like a train towards the end. It's basically as subtle as a sledgehammer. So you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, they're
you
like,
just kind of
here are the methods and here's all the lore about the lake that the tower is built on. I'm like, good.
I like the setup with Fitz, but then the setup with Fitz is like the tip of the iceberg, right? Because as soon as you go down, holy shit, it's all coming at you, and you're just
Yeah.
like, okay.
Dude, that's why 4 out of 10, man. This story fucking blows. Like it actually hurts me, cause it does.
I
I
mean,
think
no,
it takes-
I enjoyed the first half. Like the character
Yeah.
writing and the
Bro,
the
I would say that's like a
dialogue was
third
good.
of the game. There's,
I think you're saying you dislike the plot,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like the overall points it goes through, but the story itself, the beginning
f-
was
Yeah.
no, the beginning was like 3/4 of the game.
No,
bro,
that's
or
like
2/3 of the
1/3,
game.
bro. There's like 3 parts in the
Two-thirds.
game.
I'd
There's
say
3
2/3.
parts in the game.
The tense like
Yeah, I know, but it's not
horror-
split evenly.
Yeah, no,
The first part
the
definitely
tense
took-
horror part where you go down to the lab, that's like the last hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Last
that's
hour
the
or two.
that's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
but I'm talking about like build like when you finish investigating and clearing the suspicions. That's part one. Like
Yeah,
that
I
was
think
really
yeah,
like,
but
fun
that
for me.
part one is like the meat of the game.
That's like halfway through the
Yeah.
game.
That's
I
like
think
more
2
than
thirds
halfway through
almost.
the game.
Yeah, but like not
When
by
you-
the parts. Maybe by the playtime, but not by the
Yeah,
parts.
yeah,
We're not talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
parts.
Yeah.
We're talking about the sheer
Yeah.
writing, and that's like
Yeah.
a lot of the writing is there
The
because
parts,
of all the
like,
character
as we said,
dialogue.
If
Are-
chapter 1 of a game
yeah.
takes 20 hours and chapter 2 takes 2 hours, you don't say I've completed, and that's the whole game. You don't say I completed chapter 1, therefore I'm 50% of the way through the game. That's not how
Hey,
that works.
That's how Paul wants it sectioned. Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay.
I mean, yeah, they probably should have broke it up into sections because their sections were once again
It
completely
felt
arbitrary.
strange
but
to have
yeah.
sections, yeah. Because when I hit the
Sections
laboratory at
weren't
that point, I
necessary.
was like, "Why do
Yeah.
you even have sections?" The first
Yeah, like
one
what the
was
fuck
so
is
long.
happening? The
Yeah.
only
You know?
difference is the music just blasting you, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
okay,
oh,
it
yeah.
makes sense in the context of like a classic detective story with a setup because obviously the subtitles are named as such, right?
Yeah.
But then I think maybe they had this in the pre-planning phase, but then in the actual execution, the first part ended up being so long. Maybe they should have revisited that idea.
I
you know?
I think they should have
Yeah.
revisited like the mystery part because I feel like this is a game where they're like, I want these mechanics, I want like this kind of twist to happen. Because like the moment, like when you're 1v1ing or like 2v1ing with Penelope in the tower, right? That is a good moment. I am like tense. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. The moment itself is really good. And like, you know, like I said, as the dialogue slowly reveals, wait, the golden beetle's still here. And then it like pans back. You see the bird in the back and just go, "Tuk," and I'm like, oh, that's the sound. I thought that was an
but
amazing
to
moment.
me, that tells me that again, like I said earlier, the scenes are set up very well, but that suggests to me that they came up with the scenes first almost,
That's
and
what I
then
just
they
said.
came up with the lines connecting it, and it just doesn't really work
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, they nail the moments, but like they really fumbled the mystery part. And for me, that mystery part was like it's one of the driving features of the game because it's a detective grimoire, and you can't fumble that. I feel like that just broke it for me. That's why for me,
Yeah.
like the writing he gets a hard 4 out of 10 because you
I
get the
also
4.
thought.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I just want to finish up saying you get the 4 for like the moments which were good, but it's still about the meat of the game, which is mystery, and you fumble that so hard.
Yeah. I also thought maybe I thought the plot was also moving maybe towards Freya set up a fake kill,
Oh, yeah,
false
that's what
murder
I was
scenario
thinking.
so she could get off the island, right? But
Yeah,
I don't know.
a false locked door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Well,
she
that's
worked with
Kevin's,
someone
fan
to
theory,
make it
right?
look like
So-
she died so she could get off the island without any guilt.
That's why I think.
But-
That's why I
but-
thought like Flora was being silent because like I was like, does Flora know this? And she's
Yeah,
just
I thought
covering.
Flora might have also been in on it. Like I said, there's like 3 scenarios I thought that could have been possible, but I think the most likely one is still mental illness, sadly.
In the moment, as everyone was talking about it, though, from when I said that theory from the start, it doesn't make sense though that Freya would help you find out.
Yeah,
Right.
okay, yeah, you're totally right. Yeah,
Yeah,
What do you mean
Like, it
Freya would
doesn't
help
make
you?
sense
Oh,
that she
about the
would-
crab?
she would leave the crab for you to
Yeah.
find out if she was trying to escape the island.
The crab
There
is
is
just,
still-
I
you're
don't
right,
know.
you're right,
there is
yeah,
still
you're
really
right,
no
yeah. So,
explanation
like-
of why the fuck the crab's still there.
Well, you also don't know who hired you.
That's
Again,
true.
I was saying it could have
Yeah.
easily been Fifi
Yeah.
or Poppy because it's like explicitly mentioned that they solved like almost the whole thing before you, and
Yeah.
they
That's lame though too, because they don't even give like hints at like that they're thinking about it.
Also,
yeah,
like,
right.
I
That's
don't think
another
it
one
could-
of those things where it's
Yeah.
like, it's just there's just nothing.
I don't think it could be Fifi either, because Fifi put the lock on Freya's diary on purpose to hinder you.
Mm.
Well, she could have changed her mind, but again, this is all speculation. We don't
Yeah, yeah,
actually
'cause
know,
nothing's-
right?
Nothing's fucking concrete.
Maybe that's not what they wanted. Maybe they're happy that we're all
And
talking
this is why
about
I'm
it.
also down for the Penelope intentionally did it so she could be caught because she wanted to have that confrontation with you. But yeah,
Dude, like that's why like when I play this game, all I could think about was like what this game could be.
Yeah.
Like an improved mystery, add the ability to circumvent certain parts of the game without evidence and just sheer logic. And you know what? I got so obsessed over it, right? I was thinking about like doing Steam achievements. Like imagine if you could solve the entire game with no evidence, and the game is straight up you unlock achievement where it's like you didn't look up this game online, did you? Like that could be an achievement in its own.
Okay, you need to make a
Yeah.
detective point and click game.
Detective
Well,
games are hard,
it
bro.
sounds like.
He has clear passion. But yeah. So does anyone have anything else they want to go over?
It could be better.
Yeah.
It's a good proof
Should
of
we do
concept.
our-
If this game
I
was
really
just
like the majority of the writing. I will say that it is literally just the actual back half of the plot, and the motive is okay. To be fair, the motive is a very critical part of a detective story.
Yeah, it's kind of the
But
main thing.
you know, the character
even if-
dialogue was great. I touched on it
Yeah.
earlier with
Yeah.
the art design, but you really get a good sense of at least a fair amount of. You get at least a little depth, even though they are tropey. You know, you get a pretty nice amount of depth still. So.
I think it's okay to have tropes. That's how you have fun with it. And they're not even
Yeah,
too
but
tropey
but
either.
I'm saying you need to have the depth because
Yeah.
otherwise, if it's just a pure trope, that's what makes it terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't sign up for a horror game. When all the lights turned off, I was like,
Uh,
please no.
Oh, come on.
I was like, nope. I don't want any part of this anymore.
Terry clicking it, closing his eyes.
I think
Go to the top.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it at all because I already know how SFB like makes stuff, so I knew they weren't probably not gonna pull a DDLC, you know.
Would have been dope though.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not their
you just go
style.
in and like the rest of the family is dead. You're just like, what?
I would have
Oh,
liked
man,
a
that
nice
would've been
indie Yume Nikki style psychological horror descent
Yeah,
into
to, like,
madness. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, to like make it to lean in on the whole psychopathy or
Yeah,
psychopath
yeah.
angle
Yeah.
for
Penelope.
Penelope.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like you spend time there. It's like, oh, it's a time dilation or some shit. Like it's actually a couple of days has passed. You get back up, everyone's dead.
I see.
Then it becomes a horror game.
Y'all
Survival horror
going
game.
wild with your theories, man.
we can go into our would you have played this game, right?
Yes. If you weren't forced to, would you have played it start to finish?
Yeah.
Who's saying? Who's going first?
I can go
No,
first.
we're-
If it was actually on my radar, maybe.
When you say forced to, do you mean like this is forcing us to, like, because someone we
Yeah.
Oh,
This is
Yeah.
forcing us to.
Like
yeah.
we have to play it by the end of the month, right? Like through the whole thing.
Okay. I knew about Detective Grimer for years. Obviously, I would not have gone and gotten it myself. But obviously, if I play it, I'll play the whole thing, right? Like I would. That's not forcing me. I feel, you know.
Yeah,
'cause
I
would've enjoyed
think
it. Yeah.
I'm on Jeff Miller's. It's like if I started it.
Oh yeah, if
Yeah.
I
I
started,
think I
I would
would've
have finished.
finished
If
it.
I started, I would have finished.
It's like Avorion, right? Like I think Terry said he would not have played much at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I
yeah.
had started it, I would have dropped it after like the first hour
Yeah.
or two.
I guess
for
would you
me-
have dropped it?
Yeah. For me, it's same as Terry. Like, I would never have picked it up. And if I hadn't known it was a 6-hour game, and like I didn't have to do it, maybe I wouldn't have done it. I fucking hate puzzle games. But
Why are
knowing
you such a puzzle hater?
if I had gone into
Because
it,
his brain
knowing
is
it's-
small.
if I
Yeah,
had
he's a
known going into it, it was like
smooth brain.
a 6-hour game. Like it's so short. Like I would have, and I did enjoy it. So yeah, I probably would have played it.
You would've
But if it
finished
would have been like 20 hours, maybe not.
I think so too. I mean, I dabble. I don't play a ton of these types of games. I like them when I do, and if I started it with how short it is, I think it's hard to say you would have
Right.
finished it. It's a great game overall.
Yeah.
Like overall, it's a very good game with a lot of good things about it. I think. Yeah.
I found it. I started it. I suggested it. I jerked off to it. Oh, fucking 100%. This game, I hate the writing, but damn. When a game with clean mechanics like this, that literally, in my opinion, no other game has, I'd go Shover. But I don't think I'd recommend it. I'm gonna be honest. Like you said, Mitchell, I don't think this is the kind of game for everybody.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
why
Yeah,
don't you give that there Hollow Knight a try?
I think the design is good enough that even if you hate puzzle games, like
Yeah.
like I
I'd always
liked it.
recommend
I
this
was just
game.
more saying if it had been 20 hours, I would not have liked 20 hours of point and click adventure.
Yeah,
Which I don't think they
I'd
generally
recommend
like,
this game to anyone as long
Yeah,
as they don't
anyone.
hate puzzle games. Like it just
Even if you do,
it's easy to
it's
get
pretty
into.
enough.
It's an easy way to get into the genre, you know.
Yeah,
It has interesting enough mechanics at its base, like basic interesting mechanics. Nothing severely complex that would hinder you, right? Great hint system that doesn't make you feel stupid. Because some games, they do the hint system and you fail 3 times, like this is the answer basically. and you're just like, okay, I failed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a good intro puzzle game. But yeah, so that brings us to the end of Tangle Tower. Thank you, Paul, for being our guest today.
Thank
It
you
was
for
a
having
good
me.
game and good discussions.
Our first guest.
Yes, our
First guest.
First of many.
Last guest
hopefully.
too. That was really horrible.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, never again. Never again.
Perfect.
But,
that means I'm in.
yeah.
I got in
When
the
a
only
guest
episode.
gets to
then.
pick a game before you do.
Oh yeah, Terry. Poor Terry.
We do RNG our games, and actually, we have already RNG'd this month's game. Spoiler alert, Terry did not win again. I got to choose, and so this month's game that we invite you all to play along with us is Jedi Fallen Order by EA. So,
This guy doesn't even say Star Wars. He just assumes you know. You say Jedi,
yeah.
we already know.
Who
yeah,
doesn't?
Bro,
unless
who
you live
doesn't
under a
know
rock,
what-
you know what a fucking Jedi is.
Yeah, if you speak
Yeah.
English, you probably know what a Jedi is.
Yeah.
So for the future, we're gonna be rolling a dice between the four of us, and whoever gets selected gets to pick a game. I'm saying once we get people to suggest games, we'll roll I was gonna say a D6 because I'm a nerd, but a normal dice, and then we the first four are our numbers. Then whatever games are suggested can be 5 and 6.
Sounds good.
I think that would be a good way to go forward.
So we will be adjusting as we go on how we exactly pick, but there will always be a random element because that's fun, and it will
That's always
always be
fun.
monthly because that's all.
And I'll never get to pick because that's how.
Yes, Terry will never get to pick because that's fun. All right. Thank you
we
everybody
don't
for
need to
watching.
play. We don't need to play Honey Pop, Terry.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean,
Hey, he has the right to suggest whatever he wants. But
oh man.
thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you next month.
make sure you
Cool,
like,
cool,
subscribe,
cool.
share this videos with your friends.
Ooh, there's our show. There's our show. That's my
There.
boy.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
you can hit the stop recording button now
Alright,
on
sick.
your OBS. Yeah.